Hello. Hi, Chris.
Good morning.
Oh, I like those sunflowers. Or is it daisies? Whichever. I like them. Good morning.
Good. Good morning.
All right. I'm back in the US.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. I miss my family here. I miss my family there. So it's always like, I'm always happy to be back and I'm always torn to be gone both ways. So,
I could see that.
yeah. So here we go. Let me get this set up and move this out of the way. And move this into place. Okay, I just was opening up all the apps because I was using Illustrator yesterday and I had it filling up my screen, but now I have my other monitor, which is the good news of being back. So I don't have to use only one screen. Okay, here we go.
Is there a, um, I guess, icon or a feature on any of the programs we've been using thus far that can take an image, so we know how to copy it with a PC, you're pressing on Alt, but then inverse the image? Now,
Mhm.
Google AI said there was two things you could try. I could only
Hold on for a
find,
second. There's many ways to inverse an image. Explain what do you mean so that I can tell.
well,
Forget Google
we're
AI for a minute. Ask me your question again. What kind
okay.
of image? Like you want to turn it into a negative or what? What?
So I was on Illustrator
Yeah.
yesterday, working on that rocket picture,
Mm-hmm.
and the side where it's a red little flap like a wing to the
Okay.
rocket,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so I copied it, and then I was trying to inverse it so that I could have an exact copy, but if it was inversed, I could
Mm-hmm.
put it, just attach it to the other side of the
Yeah,
rocket.
exactly. Okay, that's easy. So let me show you while we're waiting for others to show up. Let me share my screen. By the way, um, that's the kind of perfect question to ask in the Padlet kind of thing. So meaning it's the last day, but like the kind of stuff that then I can look at what you're trying to do and then I can incorporate it into. But anyway, here I am. Um, oh, I thought I was sharing, but I'm not sharing yet.
I was just thinking there's got to be an easier way because I was, trying to get two things perfectly.
Oh no, it's a very simple. So here I am. Okay, for Illustrator. All right, so say that we make a shape that's, and there's so many things to teach that I'm always like, what did I teach next? But say that you have a shape that's not even, so like that, right? So that you need to then have the same version but flipped over, okay? So then right here in all of these, what version do I have? Essentials. I don't think Essentials has it. Trying to go to Essentials. No, here it is. Okay. So you know how we went to the rotate tool?
Yes.
And the reflect tool right there is the same. So you just do like that and there it's reflected. So here I have the original and then I have the reflected version of it.
Ah, reflect. Okay. So Google didn't use the word reflect. Okay.
Well, yeah. You have to make sure that you understand that it's within Illustrator and to explain because there's bazillions of ways online to do it, but like many different programs. But if you say working with Illustrator, how do I, um, yeah, reflect? It's just that when you probably said negative and stuff in all of those words, but yeah, I know now that yeah, I asked you to explain the question a bit better. So now here's the shape,
Uh-huh.
right? And then you click and hold the rotate tool that was there, click and hold, and there's reflect. And just like the rotate, do you remember that the rotate tool you had to click somewhere to move that center point, like we clicked over here and then we rotate based on that. You remember that?
Yes.
Or you click over here and rotate based on that. Yeah. So the reflect tool is the same. When you click on the reflect tool, you choose where to reflect from. So if I click from here, then it reflects from there. But you click from here, then it reflects from there, right? So at some point you go back to the original. Are you practicing it? Do you want to try it? Do you want to share your screen?
Well, I want to ask you some questions right now. So
But like, did it
what is
work
the difference
for you?
between I haven't done it yet, but this so then
Okay.
what is the difference between this like you made a copy of it and then you rotated it yourself and mirror? Because I also tried mirror, but mirror grabbed more and then it started with these 90-degree angles on the artboard.
Go ahead and show me mirror because I don't know mirror.
Well, I deleted it, but
But where did you get mirror? I don't know.
mirror was also an icon. Oh, mirror was one of the drop downs, I think, from window. So, I mean, I was just trying different things, trying
Yeah,
to
but
get
I
it to
don't see it.
work.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know it. There's so many available tools that can do things. I don't know the mirror tool, so that's why I can't tell you which
Okay.
one's better if I don't know where you got it from. Mirror doesn't appear over here. So where did you get mirror? It's
The
also
the
over here. Here's also the reflect is also right there. I don't know where you got mirror. Let me see if I do a search for the word mirror. Mirror repeat. Okay.
you see, I was put the lines, and in my case, it had like a 90-degree angle, and
Yeah, it's probably a much more complicated. It's a mirror repeat based on a certain place. And if I move this out, it just, oh, it's the offset is what matters here. Okay, I get it.
okay.
Okay, this is all about the offset. So when you're doing things that are absolutely symmetrical and you move one, you need to have it move the same amount the other way. So if you're doing things that are, like if I now move this one this way, then that one moves that way, so it's about getting, okay. I I've used this in the past when it was for when you're doing like a mandala or something that everything has to be like exactly, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You can't have it, but for the rocket it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, there we go. That's what that is. And then when you hit return and you're done, it's basically an offset thing. When I get back to the is that my yeah. So then when I get back outside of that mode, I have my two and they are identically distanced, you know. But that's overkill for the rocket, but it works. I mean, yeah. Like the actual reflect doesn't matter. Like this, no, they're now connected forever. If I move one, the other one will move.
That was it.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're not individual pieces anymore. But if I want to, I have to go into isolation mode. So when I select it, I need to double click to get into isolation mode, and then I can keep moving it and it will constantly repeat. So it's a whole different tool, and it's a great tool, but that's what it is. Okay.
I was going to say the great thing about the lesson was that even though I didn't finish it, it was forcing me to try different things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm so glad you got it. That's the whole point. That's why at first I would give people all one, and then some people didn't get inspired with one or the other. And I'm like, okay, there's all these images. Some people really are a level to do one of them. Some people are level to do another one. Just go for it and choose, right? And why don't I have my Illustrator one here? How interesting. Let me go back to my documents. Do not remove and put my Illustrator here. Don't I normally have my Illustrator in my bridge? I guess it's not my some Illustrator class files. Um, which isn't here we go. I feel like where did I put the Oh, they're in the Padlet. I was like, where did I put the images for you guys to copy? They're up here. I'm sorry. I was looking for them in the files.
Yes.
I was like, wait, where did the images go? Here they go. Um, so yeah, uh, different ones of these give you different challenges, right? And for a while we worked all in class on this one quite a bit. Then we worked on others, and this time I just assigned them as practice, but I missed that. I think I'm going to assign them again next time and have them in class because that's when questions appear. But on the other hand, what you discovered is that you got to think and look for stuff, right? And you found mirror, which is great. It's probably beyond what we need here, but hey, it worked. If you reflected these two little guys, that was necessary. You could have reflected also the flames if you wanted, or this this little cloud is the same as that little cloud, and that little cloud only made smaller and reflected, right? But mirror would have worked here, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
The other thing I was trying was if you go to select up on top and then click on inverse. That's what I had originally tried, but that didn't work.
Inverse is a different tool. Yeah. So say that I make it's like a inverse a selection. It isn't really the shape. So again, let me make a tool a shape that's not, you know, even. So then when you have a shape like that, you're better off like reflecting basically. Whoops. And that's my other tool. Let me just um this one right here is the easiest little reflect, right? Just a quick little reflect. But the selection and inverse has to do with the selection. So it's under select. So say that I have a selection, um, say that I have two shapes here, right? And this isn't necessarily correct, but anyway, say that I have this shape. I use inverse all the time in Photoshop, but I'm not sure it's going to inverse to that to get the next one. Yeah, it did see it inverse the selection to the rest of what's here. And now when I select the inverse, it inverses and selects the other thing. So it's a selection issue. And it's under the select
Okay.
tool. Okay. So
Okay.
if I select one and I say inverse, it selects what's outside of it. See how that one is not selected anymore? It's only this one that's selected now. So it's a selection tool. Okay. It won't inverse the shape. But this one here, when you hold on to the shape and you go over here, you can transform it. One of the options is to flip it upside down, up vertical or horizontal, right? Or you go to the actual reflect tool over here and then you choose exactly where you want it to reflect from. If you want to reflect it there, then there it goes and it reflects from there.
Oh, great.
All right, cool. No, that's great when you have like things that you're trying out and asking these questions is so cool because then you get to really I'm still trying to understand where the mirror tool came from. I had to search for it, but where was it? I think it's under object, path, shape. I'm trying to find what palette would have it. Mockup image.
I could also tell you that, we use Control Z to reverse or remove or,
Undo. Undo.
undo. And then I tried Control Y,
That's to
which is
redo.
right, but it doesn't work in Adobe Illustrator. Instead, the artboard went to a totally different screen. So, I mean, it was a huge learning
Well,
curve.
because it depends on here, let me share my entire screen. Each program has its own redo. Undo is always Control Z, but here, let me share the entire screen. So, but if you go up here to where you say that I just moved this from here to there, if I go up to undo, it goes back, right? So there it is. That's the Control Z.
Okay.
But then if you go to so let me undo that. And then if you redo it over here, you'll see the shortcut, which is Shift Command Z. Each program, the redo is different for all the programs. Like for Photoshop, it's if you go to, now I'm in Photoshop, the undo redo is Shift Control Z. For InDesign, it's Oh, Shift Control Z. Where's the Control Y? I guess they took it out. I guess the Control Y, it's always Shift Control Z. It used to be Control Y. I think in like Word or something like that, it's Control Y, but in these, it used to be in one of them, it was Control Y. Now it's Shift Control Z. So it's Control Z, Shift Control Z, or just add the control, add the shift to it. So now it's the same in all of them. It used to be different in one of them, just like the place is different in them still. Nope, they've made it the same for all of them. It's Shift Control Z for the redo. If you ever wonder the shortcuts, like if you go to the menu where the original image, that's why I was looking for where the mirror is in the window, but I couldn't find it. I found it by doing a search, mirror repeat, but where did it come from? Like what palette had it? I don't see
I'm
it.
in Essentials. I know that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, don't know.
but yes, I was trying all kinds of things. And then, of course, you weren't around when I made those mistakes, and I had to try to figure out how to, get back to
But
where my
isn't
work.
that what learning's all about? I'm so glad you did that, right? Because that's exactly where the learning comes from, right?
Yes.
By the way, you're in the digital design techniques class, but those are the kind of things that in the Illustrator itself, then I get to show more tools. But in the digital design techniques class, it's a much more general kind of how do we handle all these images. Um, so yeah, this is something that normally, depending on the thing that we are copying, I would go ahead and make it be, um, here we go, Illustrator. So that's why I couldn't find these files because I was looking in Digital Design Techniques, which is the class we're in right now. But these are under Illustrator. When you said you were repeating, that's why I was a bit confused as to where the files were because, you're in both. Um,
Well,
but
one of the AI suggestions for when I was saying, inverse the image
mhm.
was effect, distort and transform, transform.
Oh yeah, well, these are the transform tools.
So,
So these are the
so
transform tools. Look over here. These
yes.
are the transform tools. So
So
you're
that
basically,
that wasn't working though, but even though AI said that's how you do it.
well, do you believe AI? No. Anyway, no, what I was trying to say, these are the transform tools. All of these are the transform tools. Okay.
Okay.
These are the transform tools. But if you don't, go up here, these are all the transform tools. So distort and transform. But these are not distort and transform, are the ones that you were sent to. If you go to transform, then you get the transform effects. And one of these, I
Yes.
believe, is reflect. There we go. Reflect X and Y. And then you get a
Uh,
reflection. So yeah, I mean, it's just more complicated ways of doing the same thing. When I say by the time I'm done, I say, okay, there's my reflected shape. Okay.
yeah, and I was moving
Wasn't
that
so wrong. It's just much more complicated than necessary.
I was moving the where you just were at. They have a vertical and horizontal, and you can move it by percentage,
Yeah.
that bar, and that's what I was working on.
Yeah.
Realize it would work right.
So, these are there's when you get deeply into it, you can just go crazy. So here you can scale it, you can make it bigger, smaller percentage wise. This is basically the stuff that let me in the way past before you could just grab something and do this to it. Like when these programs began, you could only do it by numbers. It was much harder before to design. And you wanted to move this from there to there, you needed to know the angle. And so you had to do it by numbers and stuff like that. Now they just put the angle over here. Just move the angle there. Here's the X and Y. You move the X and Y there. Here's a reflect, right? So basically, this is the quick way of doing what this, that, and this does by the numbers, right? You can
Got
move
it.
the angle right there and move it, whereas you could now have moved the angle over here and moved it, right? So it's just, but when you want precision, exactitude, as I said, I keep talking about mandalas because when you need everything to be, you can't just move it like that because it looks better. You need to exactly move it a certain amount of degrees so that everything moves in a certain amount of degrees. That's when you need the numbers. But if it needs to just look like that, you just do that. But if you need it to be exactly 72, 25, 32, like 72.5, and then you hit return, then it moves exactly 72.5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anyway, so this is the transform. And if you want more than what this transform has to give you, you go to these three little dots And then it gives you every one of the choices, scale, corners, and strokes, angle, shear, which is what the other one of these was. It was a shear, so there you have it, all the choices. Um,
Well, there are a lot of
will
choices.
bring you to more choices of each path. Okay. So basically what they give you here is the basic stuff that most people want. And then when you want more, there's either more under those dots, and when you want even more, then you have to go to the full on, torrent. And it's in this full on thing that I'm looking for the mirror, because I'm trying to figure out where the mirror is in the menu, and I can't find the mirror in the
See.
menu. I know it's one of them, and I can't find it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so here are the transforms, also under effect, just effect transform. It brings you that same window up. I was going to say, because I'd never found it, that I always knew that it was effect transform. And you said distort and transform. I said, this doesn't work. And there it is. There's the word transform, which is there again, right? So it's like you find the same things in different places. I had never found it here. Under distort and transform, these were all like the weird ones that I had you guys do these in
Mhm.
class. But I hadn't noticed that the basic transform was there as well. I thought the basic transform was just under effect transform, but it's the same one. So there you go.
Well, it took me a while to find these things.
I know that's the whole point. Congratulations for you on doing that, because yeah, that's when I kind of laughed and said, "Do you believe AI?" It's just that it helps, but it also that's why practice helps, because when you do things by the textbook, you practice, you do things by the textbook, you learn, right? And it's fine and it's correct. And that answer was like a textbook effect. And then when you start doing it yourself, then you discover, oh, I could have just held down the option key and made a copy. I didn't know. Normally they'll go, well, you need to go up to edit, you need to go choose copy, then you need to pay, they'll show you the whole way through. And then there's the way you can do it faster. And that's usually why things like a class helps, right? Because they'll help you with those tips. But then the class is over and you need to keep learning and you need to do what you did, right? Keep finding out things for yourself. That's the only way I learn how to do things too. At some point I constantly have to keep learning how to, these programs are changing by the minute now with all the AI stuff. So, yeah, it's really good to keep learning. So where's everyone else? This is the one class where no one ever shows up. I'm so glad you're getting a one-on-one, but, um, you know, no, I haven't, you know what? I didn't get a chance today to look at my emails because I was running, my son, I was going to say, I was almost thinking about calling the class and saying I was going to start late, but I didn't, because my son last night had 102 fever and I was out there tending to him this morning. And then I said, he settled in right before class started. So I came in, but I didn't get a chance to look at mails and let's see if somebody told me they weren't coming or something. Let me just check for a second. Which is
I hope
fine. I
it gets
mean,
better.
at this point, it's not that there's too many, but just to know whether to keep going with you or to start on something else. Oh, Barbara's in my Illustrator class. Okay. She's trying to join us, but she's in the wrong class. Hmm. Zoom link for the digital and Zoom link. No, the message is fine. I thought, did I mix up my message or something? No.
I have another question for you when you get an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just looking to
Okay.
see. I only have Barbara who's in my Illustrator. She just joined the Illustrator class. I got a message and I need to tell her that she needs to be here. Anyway, yeah, what's your question? Yeah, let's
So
continue.
if
I
you
mean, this is us, so
if you're in effect, you can go down to rasterize.
yeah.
What is it? Because if you go to object and you come down, you also have rasterize. I'm assuming it's the same one.
Are you still talking about Illustrator?
Yeah.
So rasterize is turning an image into pixels, which in
Ah,
Illustrator you
okay.
don't want that. It's the opposite of what Illustrator is. So Illustrator is all about vectors. And so the lines, no matter how big or how small you make them, will always be, let me just share my screen. In Illustrator, an image will always be perfectly sharp.
Mhm.
No matter how much you zoom in, that line is going to be the perfect line. If you rasterize something, you turn them into pixels. So here we go. If you rasterize this, you have to choose what screen resolution you go to. So you turn it into pixels and look what happens to the lines.
Okay.
Pixels are not straight lines. So it's it's the opposite of what we did in Illustrator the other day, that we turned a photo into vectors. So we went from raster to vectors. This is the opposite. This is turning a vector into raster. And then you're stuck with, whatever. And it's I mean, I can't imagine a single reason ever in my life that I would use this one. But yeah, because you want to keep vectors as vectors.
Thank
Because you
you.
can make a vector as big or as small as you want versus a raster is limited by whatever it has. Right? So anyway, that's rasterize. Good questions. So you've heard me say rasterize the other way around, right? But I'd never stopped to explain it. Like a raster file is the opposite of a vector file. Whenever I say a vector versus raster, that's they are complete opposites. Or they're not opposites, but in a sense they are. They are two completely different techniques of how to create an image. And a raster is what a camera does, and it creates a raster image, or a pixelated image or raster image are equivalent, are the same word.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other magical thing you've been discovering? I love it. Love it. No, this is great.
It took me a while, just to between the mistakes and trying to
You
find
know what?
things.
You're going to be the one who comes out learning everything, because this is what it takes, practicing and practicing and then having questions. Because it's so funny. I wish I could record this little piece and then play it to people. You can't learn things unless you discover them on your own. Because I lead you to things and you're like, you do it right because I lead you to them. But then the moment I'm not around,
Yes.
then how does it work, right? And so I've never been the kind of person who I want you to create the image that I'm teaching you to create, and that's it. And you've learned. I want you guys to explore, which in Photoshop, it's easier because I'll say, okay, do all of this with your own photos now. But in Illustrator, you have to start from scratch. And so you have to do what I'm doing, and you end up doing the same thing I'm doing unless you then go and do something else as homework, right? And then that's when you really begin to go, well, I tried to do this. And I'm like, I want that. I reserved the whole first part of the class for people's, I tried this, I tried that, and how did it didn't work. And some people take me up on it like you did, and some people just sit there and do only what I tell them to do. And there's just much less learning in that. But anyway,
Thank you.
still good. Everyone does whatever they need to do. I need to there's a hold on, I'm trying to
Go
connect.
ahead.
Which
Go ahead.
there's a cable I need here. Give me a second, because my I've been gone for so long, my keyboard isn't responding and it must be out of power, so I need to plug it in for a second. I'm gonna, because it's beginning to falter. So let me just plug it in. There we go. Now I have the keyboard. It should start to connect. All right.
Just to let you know, so the mirror can be found within the transform options.
Okay.
So you could either do object transform reflect
Let me
menu
see. If object,
or
say that
reflect
again.
tool.
Say that
It
again.
says
Object what?
object transform reflect
Oh, up at the top. Yeah.
or reflect tool from the toolbar. Additionally, the repeat mirror feature allows you for live symmetrical drawings. So
Yeah. So that's the repeat. That's it.
some,
But it's not the mirror.
somehow
Transform
I was there.
has the same ones as before. Move, rotate, reflect, transform each, reset bounding bar. And repeat. Oh, repeat. Radial grid mirror. There it is under repeat. Okay. Found it. Phew. Repeat mirror. I'm gonna
Do you want
screenshot this
to
one.
show me? Yeah, share your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't sharing. Apologize. Here we go. All right. So it's under, so you go under, you have to have something selected, right? Because something has to work, otherwise it's go grays
Okay.
out. And then you go to object, repeat, mirror. I just couldn't find it. There it is.
But then show it. What's
Oh,
it's
then
going
you
to do
click
the
on
90
mirror
degree.
and then
There it is.
it gives you the option of mirroring and the shape
Yes.
comes in, right? And you can turn it and tell it that you want it different and that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Okay. Yes, it was quite the learning lesson.
Well, this one, thanks for doing that because I had forgotten about this one, the mirror. It's not, it's more advanced than what I get to teach in the sense that it's part of it's you know it's part of a whole set of tools to create, but when I teach these things, I'm still at more at the basic level. And so I haven't used it for quite a while. And in my kind of art, I don't necessarily ever do these really symmetrical things. So if I don't teach it and I don't use it after a while, you kind of go, where was that? I don't remember where it was. So thanks for bringing it up as a reminder. Okay. It's pretty cool. And you need to go into isolation mode for it to then work. Because like when I have it here, that's the mirrored shape, right? But to then be able to do something to move them, you need to double click, right? And you get into this isolation mode. Then you can grab one of them and do whatever you need to do. And then the other one does whatever it does, right? And it's kind of cool when it does these extra weird little shapes. Now, if I leave it in this position, this is considered a compound object, right? And I
Okay.
have whole bunches of, I am going to teach compound objects today. So this is a more what I mean by that is if you look at this shape, it could be the tail of the rocket, for example, right? But it came about from the combination of two shapes, and this is a compound object, okay? The fact that I can still go in there and modify the shape inside. It's like I'm not modifying this little red thing. I'm having to modify the shape that created that shape in order to get it to to modify. You know what I mean?
Yes. And it's perfect. The left and the right
Yeah.
side.
Yep. Tis. Yep, tis. Now, but I have to go back and double click to get to the one shape to then move it again into whatever it is. Oh, look at that little heart. Oh, how perfect is that little heart? It's a complicated little heart, but it's a heart. I didn't mean to make a heart, but I did. Look at that.
Wow.
Anyway, little cutie pie. Um, so yeah, playing around, you discover so much stuff, right? I'm actually liking this. I was trying to make a fishtail the other day, and I was using the reflect and then joining them, which is basically the same thing, but I kind of like this. The only thing about this is it's going to end up being a bit of a complicated shape to deal with the rest of the time because you can't even like isolate the paths with the white, selection tool. You're really stuck in that mirror tool. But if you need that mirror tool, it's really good. Okay. Thanks. I had forgotten about the mirror tool, so there you go. I always love to have things that are new come up in class. It keeps my brain going too. So, all right. Any other marvelous discoveries before we move on?
I just wanted to confirm that we in this program are
Mm.
limited to the designs of what an ellipse, a rectangle. They don't have um, any other images such as a heart
You
or
mean
a
the basic shapes? No.
yes, basic shapes. Okay,
Yeah. The
we're
basic
limited.
shapes are rectangle, ellipse, polygon, and star tool. And based on those, you do everything else. There's
Okay.
one more shape. that they used to have that they got rid of, and it was a bit of a complicated mess anyway, so it makes sense. They didn't get rid of it, but if you go to the Essentials Classic, then under shapes, there was oh, they don't have it here. Flare tool, do not use that. That's where was the other shapes? Here, under the line, they had spiral, reflect, rectangular, and polar grid. Oh, here comes Barbara, the one who is in the Illustrator class. Hi, Barbara. I saw you were trying to join the Illustrator class.
I I was.
I got a message saying Barbara has joined the Illustrator class. I'm like, oh, I hope she notices soon. Design techniques comes first. Illustrator is in the afternoon. All right, I'm glad you're here. But it's just Christina and Christina has a lot of really good questions. She's been exploring and playing around with Illustrator, of all things. She's also in the Illustrator class. And she found out a bunch of stuff this week, trying new things, and she's asking me about them. So that's what we're doing. All right. So welcome to class. What was I saying? Oh, you were asking me about the
Oh,
shapes. Oh, that's what I was saying.
yes.
Okay. So when I go back into Illustrator, if I switch to the Essentials Classic, which has a ton more tools, and this is the one that we used for, 20 years. But yeah, for teaching, it was hard because um, it's got so much stuff. Some people were really overwhelmed by this one. So they began to make all these like easier subsets to have less tools. But thus in the line tool, these are called the closed primitive shapes, and these are the open-ended shapes. So other than line, which is all we have now, we had the arc, the spiral, the grid, and the polar grid tool. The fun one, for example, the rectangular grid tool, if you click and drag, you can supposedly just make a rectangle. But if I don't let go, if right now I make a plus, 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 see how I make more lines to that, or minus, 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 I make
Ah,
less lines. Or if I go to the left side, it swerves over to the right, or I make more and it kind of, so then you can make the grid that you want. And then when you let go, there's that grid, and then you can, work with that grid. You can skew it. You can do stuff to the grid to change it. So that's a good one. But only if you need to make a grid, right? But if you don't and you didn't know it was there, how would you make a grid? You'd have to hand make it and stuff like that. So those kind of things. So there's tools here that are extra, but none of them are like shapes, like hearts or, nothing recognizable. You just start with the basic shapes and you turn them into whatever you need to turn them into with all the other tools that we have in here. Okay. Now,
thank
one
you.
that's pretty cool is the warp tool. So, anyway, so there's just so much stuff there. Aerosol, it's just ridiculous how much stuff is in there, but I'm going to go back. And ever since I started teaching the basic ones, yeah, there's kind of a little bit less to teach, but on the other hand, um, we can go more deeper into the stuff that is there. So, yeah. I've been using a ton the measuring tool, which I don't see why in a regular Illustrator class you would do that, but like I've been designing, we're redesigning we're setting up, we're making a little porch outside my bedroom window, and to get the measurements I'm using this, right? So say that I'm making a little, say that that's my porch or whatever, and I want to see what size it is proportionally. I can grab this little measuring tool and I can go from end to end and create that. See how here it wrote. So now I'm going to go to that one. And now that's 3.2 inches, which you could have decided. You could have checked up here, but then with this one, I can give it to the designer and to the contractor, and he knows what sizes to make. So it's kind of cool. So little tools that you might or not think of that you can do with Illustrator, but I'm basically designing my drawing the plans for my porch, and then I'm getting the little measuring tool. But again, would I show it in class? Who needs the measuring tool? You know, only people who are designing something in their balcony. But so there's so many tools in here that are beyond belief. Anyway,
How
but
did
I
you
want it. What's that?
how did you get the inches to be depicted there in the picture?
That's the tool that I
That's
just,
the tool.
this one,
Okay.
the measuring tool, the dimensions tool right there.
So
Measuring
when you
plot linear
first
and doing
created your artboard and we changed it from picas to inches, it automatically feeds into that tool that it will be inches.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I could also change the units like this one. Like I was just in Argentina and my sister was helping me with the design. She's an architect. And so I grabbed the same inches over here and I went unit and I turned it into centimeters. So see, that's
Ah,
8.21 centimeters. Computer just did it. But yes, since the document was inches to start with, it defaulted to inches, but then I can change it over here to whatever I want. Meters, centimeters.
nice.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's like
A
showing
little
you that
AutoCAD.
amongst the 10,000 things I can show you. I'm showing you that only because I've been using that. Like I've been doing I have my whole house planned out and mapped out because over the last 10 years, we keep doing a little bit here, a little bit there. And so up until now, the dimensions tool didn't exist. It appeared about, 2 years ago, maybe. And before I had to make little lines and type in the numbers myself for 10 years. And now it's like, oh, there's a little tool that I can do that. So it's a tool that helps me tremendously, even though other people might or not use it, you know. So I do that. Anyway, Barbara,
Yes.
we've been since it was just us, we've been dealing with a long list of questions that Christina had that was wonderful. Do you have any questions we're gonna address before we kind of work on some new material today? I mean, this is all new material.
Not right this second. I'm trying to wake up. I've
Okay.
just
I
slept
just wanted
hard.
to, sometimes you have questions. If you don't right now, that's fine. No need to have questions, just in case you have any. If you wanted to ask them, then go for it. But other than that,
That's really cool. You can use that like a drafting program like AutoCAD or
yeah, exactly. Let me see. I can show you. Let me see if I can go into my Google Drive where I have some stuff that I was working on.
I was thinking the same thing. It's got multi-uses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So under here,
you know when I first signed up for it, because I can't draw a thing, you know.
so
I
here's like, this is an example of what I was just doing. This is me designing our new bathroom. So this is Illustrator with all
oh,
the
that's
plans
cool.
for my bathroom. So this is what I was just working on. But see what I mean about putting all the sizes and everything there. So anyway, just showing you, this is Illustrator and I just did all this in Illustrator. So
Nice.
Much easier than a pencil.
yeah, well, also it's exact, right? It's precise.
Right.
And then you can give that to the contractor and he'll do what you want him to do. Anyway, okay. Anything else? Should we continue? I guess it's just
Yes.
us. So let's continue. Well, first of all, let me head back to the Padlet. And over here, I don't see anyone having posted anything new. So there's not, normally some other classes I have a lot of new each time, but it's just us. So, and Christina just asked me all your new questions. And if you have anything in Illustrator, if you wanna put in any of this that you've been discovering, Christina, and put it in the Padlet for Illustrator, because it is more specific Illustrator, then
Okay.
I can share this or show this a little bit later in class. But oh, wait, I had seen this one. Oh, the turtle. Okay,
Oh, that's nice.
that's Moni's turtle she was creating. Okay, but she's also
Is she
working.
gonna silk screen um
What's up?
is she I'm trying to think. I can't think of what it's called. Stained glass? It looks like she's gonna stain glass it or something.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at that, but that's Illustrator, so okay. Back to, oh, I wanted to spend a second with this. This is the class schedule for my classes, at least. Let me just put that for my classes for the fall. So if you are
Oh,
interested in any of these classes, the one that's starting in 2 weeks is
mine starts
Photoshop.
in August.
Okay. So, Christina, are you in my Photoshop class? No.
I am not.
Okay.
One
But
of the
you're in-
things I've realized though, if you take multiple classes such as yours and then take the other Photoshop class, what I didn't know until recently was that when you make the changes, up on top for Essentials and Essentials Classic,
Yeah.
it keeps the program, the software program like that. It's not like Excel where, every time you open up Excel, it goes back to the original
Yeah.
template. And so I realized that you just have to keep that in mind as you're working in different classes.
Oh, yeah, we all have, but the whole point is to learn. All you need to do is change that. So you were doing Photoshop with Bruce, you mean?
I was there for just a few hours. I had too many problems with Zoom.
Okay.
So I never finished it. But
Okay.
he was making changes, and I was thinking, well, I wonder how that affects taking classes with you.
Well, you just go when each one of us has like there's ways of using the different workspaces. Like here, I'm an illustrator. You can start with one, right?
Uh-huh.
Say that I start with painting, right? And I have all of these, but then you modify them, you add stuff. So for example, but I teach this in Photoshop and you aren't in the Photoshop class. Um, Say you start with essentials, but you're not stuck to essentials. You can add things, take things away, move the libraries over here, open, actions, put things in here, grab that there. So that's probably what Bruce was doing to set things up for his class. Then
Exactly.
you create, see, I have one here called Diana. Then you just set one up and you call it new workspace and call this one, you know, uh, Christina or
Oh,
Bruce's
I see
class
what
or
you're saying.
whatever. And then you go to that one. So that's the one for Diana. This is one. It's like you're not stuck to these, right? And then when you start his class, you switch to Christina with Bruce. And then you start my class, you go to Diana or whatever your own that you've decided you like. So it's not dangerous or scary. You just need to start the moment we start in class. I'm always like, okay, everyone, let's go check and see that we're all in the same one. As long as we're in the same one, we're a good thing. But if you're in this one, right? And I'm trying to tell you to go find the painting tools. You're like, where are they? Where are they? So we just all in the class need to be in the same one. And Bruce has people change it to the one he wants people to have.
Right.
I usually have people start with the basics that exist so that when you start, and then I say, now let's add this one, let's add that one. So in the Photoshop class, I do create my own too. But in Illustrator, I tend to use with the Essentials one. So because there's so much to all these programs, but in Illustrator with the Essentials, that's more than enough for the, Essentials for Illustrator 101, so to say. Um,
Thank you for explaining that because
yeah. You're welcome. So yeah, it's not an issue if you take Photoshop with him and with me, or with
They
a
have
tutorial.
very
And a
different teaching
tutorial, what's that?
styles.
Yeah. And that's the good thing, right? That
Yeah, I like that.
you get to see different. In fact, Bruce and I have been in a class together a few times, and he has been in one of my Photoshop classes, but I've never been in one of his, and everyone says it's so different. I'm like, I should find out how, in what way different. Like, how does it work? I should attend one of his. So what do you, in what sense is it like, what's so different, Barbara? Just because people keep saying that, and I'm
You
like,
know what? I couldn't say. I
yeah,
haven't been in one of his classes for months.
yeah. So you take like he starts with he has you work on an image doing his stuff, or you work on your own images.
Yeah, his stuff. He has
It's-
things we're supposed to do.
Okay, which is basically I'm more of a not okay, and this isn't good or bad. we each teach the way we want to teach, right? And the way I want to teach is to teach you the tool and let you play with it.
Yeah.
Versus I don't care if you have one perfect photo or one perfect shape at the end, because if I lead you to it, which is what we were just talking about with Christina, you're going to learn to make that perfect flower. But when you try to make I taught you to make a rose and you try to make a tulip and you might not remember, versus if I teach you how to use the tool. And so I go around using different tools, then you can try to figure out the flower, which is what Christina's been doing. She was trying to do something and couldn't figure out the mirror, so she was trying to figure out, or
Well, that's the whole secret of the program is knowing how to use the tools and what they are capable of
yeah, and then
doing.
you play around to see what it's capable of, right? And so that's kind of my way of teaching. I think that we complement each other, right? Because then
I think so. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in both classes.
exactly, right? It's not better or worse. It's how we like to teach, and I like to teach the tools. So
What I didn't
Although,
understand. Go ahead.
I'm not going to take your morning class. I'll never be there on time. But if you need students, call me or text me or something.
okay,
And I'll sign up and try
all right.
to get to them.
So anyway, but beyond whether you want to, you can do morning or not. I was just saying these are the next class that's coming up is Friday mornings, 9 to 12:45, and this is my typical all year round. I run the Friday morning class. It's only in the summer it didn't happen. Um,
Share your screen.
oh, thing.
And then Wednesday evening, Monday and Wednesday evening.
So at the beginning of the session,
Here we are.
so basically August 29th, which is literally 2 weeks from now, or less at this, no, it's exactly 2 weeks from now. This one here, let me put it in the chat. Photoshop Friday mornings, CRN, and there we go. 9 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. There we go. And I guess I should add begins August 29th. So that's the one. That's the first one that starts. Then there's another Photoshop that's gonna be
9:29.
yeah,
Monday or Wednesday
Friday. That's
evening.
gonna be
This is the evening.
Monday and Wednesday. And
Yeah.
that one's 5 p.m. Let me just, I'm writing in here. 5 p.m.
To 7:55.
7:55 p.m. There we go. I'm just writing it in the chat. To 7:55 p.m. And that one begins in September 29. Look at that. They both begin on the 29th. September 29. And that's
That's what I was doing
now
last
let me
night
explain the
Putting
CRNs for that one, because
my
you see that
calendar.
it says 45064 and it also says 45602. So what's up with that over here? Let me make a,
One's online, one's in the classroom.
so this is the same class. Okay, it's one class, but I teach it in HyFlex mode, meaning you can be online if you want to be online, but I'm in the classroom and you can come to the classroom and I teach it online slash, that's what HypeFlex is, classroom. So if you're there with me, I can give you a hand on hand. And if you're at work at home, you're online. It's the same class. So you would sign up for the CRN number that you think you're going to use most. But say you sign up in person and you come in person every day, Monday, Wednesday, and then one day you're traveling or you have a sore throat and you don't want to go in person, then that day you can just sign into the Zoom and be online, right? So it's okay. You sign up for one or another of the CRNs, and then you choose that day if you want to. Maybe on Mondays you go in person and Wednesdays online. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
Diana, and can you sign up online and just go to the Wake Center with your computer
Yeah.
and just set yourself up?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can if you think you're mostly going to want to be at the Wake Center, then choose this CRN. If you think you're mostly going to be online, choose this CRN. But then you can flip around and go, I prefer in person, and so just always be in person, or I prefer online, always be online. That's fine either way. It just helps at the end of the year, when at the end of the class, when I have to do attendance, I have to switch people around. But that's just an internal issue for me. Other than that, I don't care. You can come in person or you can be at home. Okay.
Next question.
The top
What-
class, though, the Friday morning class, that's like this one. It's only online. Okay.
One of the things that Bruce had his class do is he said you have to activate AI. But and he
Activate
activate
AI.
AI in Photoshop. But
It
what
doesn't.
I
No.
don't, there's some feature. And what I didn't know is if you activate AI to help you in your learning process and the features and benefits, how does that affect all of your files on your computer and
No,
or
it doesn't
the
have anything to do.
program?
I use the AI tools too. An AI tool is just an individual. You don't activate AI. You just use the tool. So I've in Photoshop, there's some tools that are artificial intelligence and others that are not, right? So say that this is a photo that we just worked on at school in the last class, and I have 5 layers here, and I showed 4 different ways to remove these. One was 2 of them were some old-fashioned retouching tools, and 2 were AI. This is an AI tool. So I just showed 4 different ways to deal with that, including, this is basically the remove tool, the content aware tool, the other edit, and the generative fill. The generative fill is an AI tool. It generates AI, so there's so many tools, and some of them are artificial intelligence and some are not, and you just learn which ones to use when. So there's no like that, the whole, activate AI, that sounds bizarre. You use a tool that has AI or you don't. Here's
What it does is it asks you, are you going to give permission to AI? So as a user, you don't know, does that mean I'm giving you permission solely for this file or for all my Adobe
No, I have
files? Or
no idea what you're talking about. Did you take the class this session?
I was only in the class for like
But this session, like
hour.
the summer?
Yes, a Bruce's class.
Okay.
So I didn't
Unless you're
understand
talking
maybe-
Lightroom, but if you're talking Photoshop, if you see this one here, this tool that has little stars, that's an AI tool. You click on that one, it's a generative AI. You tell it to
Ah.
use it or not. You can use AI or you cannot use generative AI on generative AI. If you just say AI, then now it works with generative AI. If you say AI off, you just turn it without. Like it's that tool. It's not like Photoshop becomes AI. Some tools there's new tools that will do it with AI. So you should take the
Okay.
class. Some tools work better with AI, sometimes don't. Like AI will guess things for you. And at some point, I like things to be guessed, and other times I want to know what I'm doing. So when I don't care if AI decides what to do, I use the generative AI tool. When I want to decide myself, then I use the but it's individual tools. It's not like Photoshop becomes AI. You decide when. It's like if you do it automatic, then it says, well, it might or not use generative AI. And if you do want it, you choose on or off. But if you don't, you just let it be the choice of the program. I never let it be the choice of the program. I make sure that I decide if I use it or not. And here I told people how to go from this, right, with all these corners and all these things, to nothing. And I did it in 4 different ways, 2 of which were generative AI and 2 of which were not. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
it's not, so Photoshop, you have so many things that you can do. And more, there's new generative AI tools included in it, and you can just decide when you use them and when you don't. But it doesn't affect any other files or even any other layers. As you can see here, these 4 corners were affected in this one image. 3 of the tools are content aware and 1 was generative AI, and they all blend and match just fine. You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not exclusive of one or the other. You just choose when you want to use them or not. There's just more and more tools. that are using it. But other than that, you're fine. Hi, Moni. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So Christina was asking about the AI tools. In particular, we were talking about Photoshop, and I'm saying all of these Adobe programs have more and more, like Illustrator and Photoshop have a ton of AI tools. Less so InDesign at this point, but it still has some. And we were saying that it's not like the program suddenly becomes all AI. It's just that certain tools have artificial intelligence. The other day, even when we were in the Illustrator class, I believe you were in this class, Christina, where I had us draw a box and then I said, generate vectors, generate shape fill. The word generate, this is AI. Okay. We clicked on generate vectors and we said, build a jungle or whatever we did. And we said, okay, so this is the computer inventing out of artificial intelligence a jungle or whatever it is that we did last time, a bird, I think. I'm trying to remember what we did. So, and these three choices, that's AI. That's me showing you an AI tool in Illustrator. Okay. So there we go. Here it's this was, I didn't design this, AI designed this shape.
Right. I just don't
Okay.
want to give AI permission to go through all my files or,
No,
anything.
no, not at all.
It's just
This is
limited.
a tool that out of it gave you 3 versions here. And it has nothing to do with my files whatsoever. I see your concern. You're worried that it's going to use your images for others. That's the question you've been having. That's
No, I'm worried it will go into my C drive or the
No.
cloud where I have files. That's what I was
Got it.
concerned about.
Got it. Got it. I didn't know. No, no. Adobe doesn't do that. And if you click on, in fact, I was just showing it to you in Photoshop when I was showing you the generative fill tool. Over here, it says
Here, share
Adobe
your
Generative.
screen.
Oh, I didn't share the Illustrator thing I just did. Did I not was I not sharing when I did this?
Yes.
You
were.
did share that.
I
Okay,
did share that. I went back. Okay. In Photoshop, I was just showing you this tool and it says
Yeah.
generative AI user guidelines. And when you go over there and you read up all the stuff, but it just tells you what it will, won't do. But it does not. So this is what it will do to you. But there's another place where it says, so basically at some point AI, okay, and I'm going to just not spend too much more time with it. AI, not the Adobe stuff, but Chat
Where
GPT,
did you
when it
get
all
that?
started, all of that
Adobe.com.
all of that had to learn based on they scanned the internet and they trained Chat GPT and all those things based on everything that's available on the internet. They scanned in books, they scanned in art, they scanned in all that. So all AI learned to be what it is from existing art that's out there, right? And that's why there's so much hate or whatever, because you can now say, make me an art in the style of the amazing, Frida Kahlo, and boom, suddenly there's like a painting in front of you made in the style of Frida Kahlo, which, it is for artists, that sounds horrible. But if you actually look at all of the Adobe generative AI information, they are not using anything that belonged to us, to Adobe users. They're not inside of your images. They don't pick at any of your stuff. They're probably like everyone else using all the stuff that's out there in the world, so to say. But Adobe makes, if you go to research, and Adobe doesn't use any of the images that people have placed in their servers. Okay. So
Okay.
no. Of all the like, you can't tell Photoshop to create a painting in the style of Frida Kahlo. Photoshop won't do that. Or any of the Adobe programs won't do that. Chat GPT, all the others, bazillion other program will do that. But Adobe will create tools that will invent like something for you if you tell it. And ultimately that thing that I just told it to invent, jungle or something like that. Let me go back and share my screen again. This jungle that it created, it had to come from somewhere, right? But at some point, and I don't know what it used to create it, but they swore and they explained and they showed that they didn't use Adobe. What they said they did, I believe, and then I stopped looking into it. They have they pay a ton of artists to work for them, and they created a ton of art, and that they trained it based on that. Now you won't get you can't say make this Frida Kahlo style, but you can tell it to make this in like warm tones or big, bright tones or stuff like that, but you can't tell it to use a style. That said, in Photoshop there is a tool where you can harmonize and give it certain styles. So say that I look at this image and I go to this filter, you see filter gallery. I can tell it to use certain styles, but no, that's not the one. There's one that's a new one. It's a harmonized, let me see, neural filters, where you can tell it, for example, to look more like this landscape or that landscape, and this is the style transfer. This is the nearest it comes to that, like artist styles. And so this is like the, so here's Van Gogh style, for example, right? And so now
I've never used any of those.
created that photo in Van Gogh style, or this is Monet, right? So it has a couple of like the most typical, and so now that's in Monet style, or this is in that guy who did the Fuji, the wave, the volcano. So then it did it in that style. You see that? But those are images, but believe it or not, for as much as we want to believe that everything is unique, anything that's more than, I think, 70 years old or something like that is not you can't, it's not copyrighted anymore. So anyone can use these things to make their styles. As long as you've been dead for, I think it's 75 years or 50 years or 75 years, then your stuff can be used. Your copyright is gone. So that's what those are. Anyway, but they're not like yours, Christina's art that they're using to give to someone else. So anyway. Okay. Yeah, if you're worried about AI, which we all are in so many different ways, it's helpful and it's terrifying. Just read up on it more. But Adobe doesn't go into your files at all to give some of your stuff to anyone else, nor to train itself. That they're very clear about. Otherwise, I mean, these are the programs that all the professional artists are using. And if they would all just flee the program if that's what the program was doing. Okay. So yeah, the tools
Thank you.
are powered by AI, guessing at, let me create some more of this background to make it look like it fits in there. But in fact, I preferred the other two tools better. The one that the generative fill gave here is the option I liked the least, versus all of these, which are not AI tools, I actually liked better. So you never know. So what I'm teaching people in Photoshop to do is to look at all the tools and see when they use one or the other. Anyway, that's just that. Moni, do you have anything else to add or say about AI that you want to mention, or?
No, actually, for me, it's also new. I haven't really used it except for what you've been showing. So
Okay. So anyway, so generative fill beta, this is Adobe InDesign, and InDesign is the one that's taking the latest, like it's been it's the one that's adopting AI tools the latest. But here it says that you can write, for example, lime slice, and then InDesign created a lime slice right there, right? And so it's showing in
Really?
anything that's generative, it's AI. Okay. So you give it that shape. I don't know if you can tell, you give it this shape of a lime slice, this purple shape, and then you say fill it in with lime, and it put in a picture of a lime in there. So that's what's happening in InDesign, but it's the one that has the least generative tools. Now, did that lime slice get invented by a computer, or did they pick it up from a photo of a lime slice that exists in their banks of it? Yeah, it's from a photo that exists, and someone took that photo. Did they pay them for that photo? Did they steal it from the internet? according to Adobe, all the work that they use, it's copyrighted, and it's the first program that if you go to Photoshop, any file you create that has any artificial intelligence, you can go into the copyright and they have all the information of where all this stuff came from. So you can't say this image is mine. You can't, if you explore the metadata of the images, you can tell all the different parts and pieces it came from, which is the only program that Adobe is the only program that's adopted that, and it's trying to create that in the world of AI so that people are honest. So actually, in that sense, they're trying to impose something different in the world of that. I don't know how successful they'll be, but that's their intent, or at least outwardly, that's what's their intent. If you read up on what they're saying. All right, so back to the world of digital design techniques, but these questions aren't far-fetched or far off, so it's a good questions to have. Oh, this is what I was doing when we started this conversation. I was showing you the Photoshop classes. Okay, there's also the Illustrator and digital design techniques again. And what I wanted to say about these classes, because you're in these right now, is each time I teach them differently. Each time I'll choose different images, different point, one time we'll work on a brochure. This is the class that's been more dispersed. Normally I create a product and we all have a product that we're building. This time I've been showing you tools, but I haven't really created a product with you guys. I'm gonna see if we do that today. But usually we'll take a product and we'll follow through with all of the things I've been teaching you on the base of that product. Every time I teach, I try to do it a little bit differently to see what I prefer. And I actually don't prefer how I taught this time, the digital design techniques. I find that it's more successful when I have a product that we're all working on together. So I'm going to go back to that model the next time I teach it. It doesn't come around until October. Illustrator as well. I do every time I do different work. So like Moni has taken it quite a few times, and each time she learns something different, and that's why you see her art is so advanced, because she keeps asking and taking. Just saying, in case you think, well, I've already taken that one. Yeah, you got to keep learning yourself on the one hand, but you also have to keep coming back to be able to ask the questions, right? Create compelling content is one that I wanted to tell people in this class about. Did I mention this last week? The create
No.
compelling content class is not about the programs itself. In fact, I use all free programs that exist on the internet for this class. It's more about learning what you're going to create. So it's the step before you start creating. Say that you need to make a brochure. Say that you're trying to create a book. Say that you're trying to do branding for your business. Well, first you need to back up and figure out, what are you going to say with that brochure? What are you looking? So what's the content that needs to be in that brochure for it to be an effective brochure? What's your goal? Do you want people to sign up? Do you want people to donate? Do you want people to volunteer? Do you want them to reserve your rental? Whatever you're trying to do with your pieces that you're creating, you need to think them through ahead of time before that. And so it's much more about the planning before you actually open up InDesign and create that brochure. What are you going to put into it to make it be an effective brochure? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's that class. And right now it's showing up as that it's going to be just in person, because it says Waco 3. But what I'm telling people who already know me, that class I will also teach in HyFlex format. So if you can go to the school better, meaning that's fine, but a lot of people that are in my classes live far away and they can't go, then I'm going to also open it up and I'm going to have it on Zoom. So if you sign up for that one, I'll give you a link for people who want to do it from far away. And that's just it's two classes, December 5th and December 12th, from 9 to 1. So it's 8 hours total. And that's that one. Okay.
What? Wait a minute. What? I lost you, Diane. I'm sorry.
I'm not sharing
I
my
thought you were talking about digital design techniques.
No, that's this one, create compelling content. And
Oh, it's the one that's
thought
not in there yet.
create compelling content, and the CRN is there, and it's December 5th and December 12th. So it's we meet 2 times from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We meet twice, and there you go. That's that one. But I'll make that one, even though it says it's in person, I'll have it in both modes so people can attend both ways. But that's the part that I can't tell people who don't know the class, and so only people who know me know that, and that's why it's harder. But by the time I'm done by December, I'll have told all the people in my classes, and then they'll be signing up.
Is that in the schedule?
It should be, yeah. I don't know. The schedule is always so wrong. That's the problem. If it's not, then no one finds it. Yeah, I don't know. I have the schedule right here. I can look for it, but but here it is. So,
It's not right with the rest of them.
page 12. Move this somewhere. Yeah, here it is, page 15.
Oh, it's forward.
It's under Career Skills Institute. All my classes are under Career Skills Institute. There we go.
Mine goes from page 10 to page, no, maybe that's 16. I'm
This is on
sorry.
this is on page 15.
I
Okay.
need Glasses.
All right. I'm gonna stop this and let's keep
Wow.
going with our class. And of course, for Mac people, I teach all the Mac classes and handheld devices, and all that is for anyone actually, not
Page-
just Mac. Anyway. Okay.
Page
Um,
15?
What's that?
Page 15?
Page 15, yeah. I have it. Yeah, it's the schedule for the, yeah.
Living the iLife.
Okay.
Searching the web.
Where are you? Page 15. You have a different color. Is this the one you're looking at, fall 2025? Because on page 15,
Yeah. And it's different.
yeah, page
Um,
15.
Under living the iLife is searching the web.
Yeah, on the right side, you have then emails, blog, and create compelling content and Word. The second column on the right side of page 15.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mhm.
I can't
Okay.
even read that.
Okay. All right. All right. InDesign. Let's open InDesign. Let me share with you guys. A couple of pieces, and I'm going to let you guys
Oh, maybe
choose.
I can't take too many classes. This
Yeah, you don't have to take it. So,
I need to take like living the iLife, and I just because I have an iPhone, but I've got so many classes again that I
Yeah.
get up in the morning and I have to look at my calendar to know what I
Yeah.
could do.
Well, you know what? You can do whatever you prefer. Now you're going to have to make a choice. And there's 3 of you guys, and there's way too many choices. So I just got some sample flyers, right? And I'm gonna run you through them, and we're gonna take some of this material and we're gonna recreate some of it. And you tell me what kind of thing you want to recreate. Like all of this will teach you different things in InDesign. We don't have the
Cool.
same material, it's ideas. And so it can be more text-based. We haven't done that much text in InDesign yet. It can be more grid-based. It can be more more image-based, like that. So anyway, I'm going to run through them again. Okay, so one, just keep an eye on what I'm showing you, that or this one. If something really you really go, oh, I want to recreate that one, keep an eye on like the word nature or the word good art or something like that, and then you'll tell me. Then this is more like, you know, informational. Sale, another kind of way to presenting sales, more like events and things, more like a schedule of events. This one's much more image based, much more graphic. So anyway, or that one, which is a lot of text and information too. So did any of this that we're going to recreate now? And if we can, we can take on another one. What we're going to recreate with our materials, because we don't have the same materials. Did any of these sound more interesting to you that you want to work with? So I'll let you guys choose.
I like the third one down, disaster kit, but I don't know what
Disaster kit.
everybody else.
That's who was speaking. I'm sorry, Christina.
Christine.
Okay, Moni, do you have a preference? Because we can do more than one.
I like the nature one.
Barbara likes the nature one.
Yeah, I would
Because-
go with whatever, because I mean, I've done some things, so whatever works for them.
Okay, well then, how about we work on both of those, this one and this one? Is we might have time for both. They're more based on, this is more like headline based, and this is more, more text based. You know what I mean?
Informational.
But both have like a grid. This is much more like grid based, and this one is more free flow. So either one works. Why don't I think that this might be teaching you some things that we didn't use yet as far as grid and stuff like that. And
Was there one at the bottom that
Reading.
had also grid things?
and there's this one.
Or the volunteer one up too.
Or
So
the
that's also
volunteer,
grid,
this
right?
one. This is also
Okay.
grid based. So any of these works. This one is a bit less technical. It's just text, and then these boxes that are easy, versus this one's going to take a little bit more setting up for the grid and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But other than that, sure. And it doesn't need to be these colors, and it doesn't need disaster kit, preparation kit. Like we can make this be for your next show, you know. But what I'm saying is an idea of a flyer, and you guys can decide to put the bars on the left or on the right. I'm trying to figure out some kind of thing that you're more attracted to doing. So Christina chose this one. Barbara wants this one. I mean, wants. You preferred
It
this one?
doesn't matter.
Is fine with either one. So let's start with something like this ish, okay? And then we'll go on.
That's the technical one, right?
Yeah, because this one I actually I think
That
it's
would
really-
be good
this one's-
to do a technical one.
yeah, this one's really pretty. I find it too, but it's and it's got some font work and stuff, but I think that we'll this one we can make it with a prettier font or whatever, but and better colors or whatever you want. But this one will be a bit more technical, so we're going to go with this one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put the screenshot of this.
So
I'm going to go ahead and put a screenshot of this. Give me a second. In the class, in the Padlet, so that you'll have, let me stop. Let me get the Padlet
what
up. and
program are we gonna do it in? InDesign?
We're gonna InDesign, yeah. So let me give you the Padlet
I'm gonna open it.
here in the board. I just put the Padlet link. Okay, so head over to the Padlet. Let me share my screen. And let's go to Padlet, and I'm gonna post this screenshot of this flyer. And I'm gonna publish it so you guys can go and have it right there. You can download it, or we can look at it from there. Okay, to have an idea of the one that we're working with. All right. Now, is everyone there?
Is that gonna be a document?
This is just a PNG, just you can open it like that and look at it. But again, we're not going to imitate this one necessarily. We're just going to learn a bit about how to create an image when you want to have things that are, if you pay attention to this, in order to have it look balanced and make sense for our brain, this isn't just thrown on top, but if it's well done, then literally the space up here that isn't used by one of these yellow boxes would be equivalent to the space had we put one more of these yellow boxes. If you have a grid dividing it into space to put these boxes, then here another one would fit. You know what I mean? That space instead is replaced by the headlines. So building things within a grid helps. It's hidden, it's behind the scenes, but it helps the people who look at it feel like it's comfortable to see. It's balanced. Like this Gurvion Sealed site.com ends at exactly the same line as these yellow things end, and then this also ends at the same place that this ends, although this one doesn't seem to be following that, but it should. You know what I mean? It's things like that that really make something come together. And then the line in which you put things in here, disaster prep, September 805 is the same one where join and all and learn. You see what I'm trying to say? It's
Yeah.
things like that that help the whole thing look coherent, which is the only reason I said, let's use this one versus this other one. Because there's also the design that you make that is much more fluid and open, but if you actually pay attention, that thing still works. Nature Walk starts at the same place that October. The K finishes at the same place as northcommunitysite.com. You see that? So even within the free flowing, when you have, the distance between nature and the end art workshop is the similar distance between detailed registration and North Community Site. It's things that give you some consistency that make it look good versus a jumble of things. Now, some of them are much more easy to distinguish that it's more grid based than this, because this one truly is more free flow as long as you keep to the edge of it. But yeah, look at this one, Black Friday and Cummings, the B and the C start at the same place, and the Y of Friday ends at the same place as the N for soon. See what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
And the A tip of the A of the sale is at the same place as the tip of the Y and the N. And then the B, the L doesn't go further than the place of the C. You guys see what I'm saying? It's stuff like that that makes it look not just an explosion of stuff, but actually that it looks coherent. Does that make sense, Christina?
Yes.
And
Now that you're pointing out the invisible lines or grids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and look at this one. So Black Friday sale, right? And then over here you have some crazy stuff, but then the 5 and the off end in the same spot. You see that? So you have to keep some kind of, and then the sale, this little text, the bottom line of feel your best is at the same spot as the bottom line of sale. See that? So it just helps things become more coherent or cohesive. In fact, that's the only reason I don't really like this one too much. This one bugs me. Yes, they have a consistent days and products and whatever, but the fact that these are completely just plopped there, this one bugs me a little bit. Like this would be much more efficient if they had kept to a similar pattern. This down here doesn't seem to, the photos, I mean, of this one bug me. Like
It looks actually unfinished.
it looks unfinished, like they just plopped the photos and forgot to, thank you, Moni, there. Yeah, like this one we could recreate with that same center column, but with a much better placement of these photos, and it would be a better image, a better flyer or poster or whatever this is, right? Anyway, so let's head over to InDesign and let's start. This is probably, I believe this is probably proportional to 8.5 by 11. because usually people who make a flyer make it so they can just print it on 8.5 by 11. So let's head over to new file, go to print, and choose letter-based letter size. Now I'm going to go over here and switch it to inches. Now this is going to be with bleed. Okay. If it's going to be one-sided, if you're going to make two-sided, you're gonna do that. But since it's one-sided and it's one page, we can turn off facing pages and it'll just be one single page. We're gonna want to have some margins. Let's keep them at the basic 1/2 inch, and then we'll decide if we want them bigger or not. And yes, we want some bleed, so I'm just gonna
Oh, I missed
sign up,
that.
and we're gonna add bleed. So this is like a basic setup.
1/2 inch, 1/2 inch.
I'll let you guys fill
Oh,
your
I was trying to get a
pages.
copy of that.
Y'all good with this?
InDesign.
Barbara?
No, I'm not. I was trying to get a create open. Let's see.
Hmm.
Oh, Barbara, get with it.
Sorry, you guys didn't hear it, but I was apologizing if I'm yawning. I was up quite a bit at night. My son had 102 fever, and he's been
Oh
he was waiting
no.
for me to come home to get sick.
Colin
So I was up
Better.
back and forth at night taking care of him. So I was almost going to say I can't start the class today. I'll start later. But at the end, he went to sleep, fell asleep. But sorry about the yawning.
7. Okay.
Oh
And
boy,
then
poor guy.
I know,
Colin,
I know. And then the worst of it, for me, look at me, the worst of it. The worst of it for him, he feels bad. That's the right answer. But here's me, the person. We had just begun when I got home. We had just begun. We tore everything out of his room. We put everything between the
Ugh.
yard and the garage. He's the only room in the house that has had like a carpet installed, and it's been there who knows for how many years. We bought the house 15 years ago. The carpet was already there. It was already dirty then. So we just tore his whole carpet out, and we're gonna put just flooring, and we're gonna paint the room. And we did that for a whole day. We kind of just started the prep in the evening. And the next day I was like,
Ugh.
project to work, right? Because
Yeah.
he was going to do it. We were going to just support. He and his brother
Colin,
decided to take on the project. We're like, okay. Next thing you know, he's sitting in the couch groaning, and we're like, okay, was there stuff in the carpet that got you sick? Like, are you just adverse to work or whatever? And next thing you know, fever hits, and I'm like, okay, I guess you're actually sick. But at first we were like, this sounds psychological to me. Now, the thing is, he's sleeping in our couch. So whatever he's got is not contained in his room. You know how they say contained illnesses? No, he's in the middle of our living room couch. So whatever he's got next week is my 1 week of summer vacation. And I know that we're gonna all like tumble into it. So talking about which, Moni, how's your
8.5.
My family.
family with the
Uh,
COVID?
yeah, everybody's so nobody got it except
Mhm.
obviously my husband had it, and so he was completely isolated, and he even isolated for 3 days after he tested negative.
Yeah.
So nobody else got sick.
Oh,
So
That's like the ideal. My son's room is like behind the garage, and
Oh.
normally he would have been isolated, so whatever he
Point.
got would keep there. But of all things, he's sitting in our couch being sick. So whatever it is, we're all gonna get.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Mm.
no,
Open
not a
the
good time.
windows, and yeah,
Mm.
we actually, my son, when my husband got
Mm.
COVID, ran to Best Buy and got one of those major air filters
Yeah.
for the rest of the house. And it was like, so,
Oh.
I mean, it was like we did
Mm.
everything we could possibly do. Gave him masks if whenever the door opened, he had to wear a
Yeah.
mask.
Mm.
So, but it worked, yeah. So anyway, hopefully you guys don't get sick.
Oh God.
No point.
I hope not. And he hasn't been anywhere. Like, he goes to
Mhm.
work or whatever, but he hasn't really been anywhere. So I was like, oh, what are you bringing? What did you do? What did you?
Well,
So,
vitamin C and zinc it will help with fighting it. So
yeah.
load up on that.
So, yes, Barbara.
I'm trying to copy your measurements to create.
Why don't you share your
a-
screen so I can get you set up so we can continue? I had it open there, but
It keeps going back.
go ahead and share your screen and I'll help you with that. I have been really kind of gone since April. So, okay, go back to the picas over there and choose inches. Yeah. Click on that and choose inches. Yeah, and it's an 8.5 by, oh, go to print over here. Go back here. Let me get my
Where
note.
are you?
Here we go. Go up here to print. And we're just going to start with
Oh.
that. And then with letter, you're already at 8.5 by 11. So now go to picas and change it to inches. Good. And then we took facing pages out, which doesn't matter too much because since it's only one page, it would have been only one page. But had we done 2 pages, then they would come one after the other. So unclick that one. And then the only other thing we did here is we went to the bleed and we added a minimum bleed of 125. So just go to go to the arrow and click upwards one time. And that one happens everywhere and you're ready to create.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Now what happened? Okay,
Now
it's turning.
It's happening. It's making it.
Then
Christina, you're set? You have yours?
Yes.
All right. So there's so many ways to do this whole setup. And again, we don't need to identically imitate. This is driving me crazy. Why is this one not? I'm gonna hide. I don't like that it's.
We're not seeing your
sorry,
screen yet.
Oh,
there we go.
I forgot that we had when I stop my share for someone else to share, then I have to be reminded. Thank you. So back to InDesign. There we go. This is driving me this contextual taskbar sometimes drives me crazy, and other times it's really good. In other programs I've been using it more, but I've been using it less in InDesign, so it still bugs me more than it should. So I'm going to move it kind of out of the way a little bit, but when it's in the way, I tried it. I forced myself to start using it in the other few programs and it's becoming useful, but isn't here. Okay. So if you go up to layout, let me share my entire screen for a minute. Let's go back to InDesign. Okay. So up here at the top where it says layout, one thing that we can do is to create some guides, some ruler guide, some other kinds of layout, margins and columns, stuff like that. So let's go to create guides for a second here. Do you find it? Layout, create guides? Did you
So
find
We're
my
seeing your
question is, your screen is different than the blank page.
what do you mean it's different?
It has the summer events picture.
Summer events.
yeah, we're not seeing InDesign. We're seeing screenshots.
Oh. Okay, let me see what I shared. Oh, okay. Like that. Now you see InDesign?
Yes.
Now we see the blank
Okay.
page.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I thought I was sharing the entire screen and I had shared the wrong screen. Okay, so in InDesign, if right now you should be seeing all the lines you created. This is the margins, this is the trim line, this is the bleed. And in case you don't see it, it's because you probably last clicked the W and it's in that mode. If you click the W, you're seeing only the trim line. Click it again so that we can see the working lines, okay? Because we're going to create guides and stuff, and all of those are going to be visible only in working mode, so to say, versus in the display mode, which is what this is. So we'll hit up here to layout, and we're going to go to create guides. Okay, and then when I let go, I have a choice here. I could have put some guides by hand, or I could try to have some guides that are going to give me just more by the numbers, right? So rows is going to be lines like down that way, and columns is going to be lines this way. So we don't know yet if this is the set that we want, but let's give it a try. Say that we create 4 rows, and let's click on a preview so we can start seeing what's happening. So I don't know if you can tell, see these lines there? Let's make this be 5 or 6 rows. You see what's happening? These blue lines, can you see them? Just say if you can see them, or if not, if you can see them on
Yes.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here I made 9 rows, and the row would be this bigger space, and that little space in the middle is the gutter. So say that I want only, say, 6 rows or 5 rows or whatever rows. What it's counting right now is from the end of the trim. So this space is equivalent to that space and to that space and to that space. You see what I mean? But if we want it to fit the rows within the margins, then we would have to took margins. And now that space is equivalent to that space, and it's ignoring the margins. Does that make sense? The difference between page and margins? If it's not, let me give you an example. I'm going to go ahead.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I've been changing the row number and then pressing OK.
Oh,
But when I go back and change it, it's not erasing or updating.
yeah. I haven't said okay yet, so I'm just playing
Ah,
around with the choices. If you said okay, say that you say okay right now, right? And this is wherever you're at. When you go back, you should, you're right, it's not, remove existing ruler guides first, and then start again. I believe that should work. Nope,
okay.
nope.
Your show before you
No,
do
you're right. Once you
create.
set them,
Oh, you have
Had-
preview
once
check.
you set them, it's not changing. So if you
I
did that, go ahead and click, it should,
I did a Control Z, erased them.
yeah, but there should have been a way to get rid of them.
Okay. I now see that you clicked on
There's
preview.
a thing there that says remove existing ruler
Yeah,
guide.
but it does, and then, oh yeah, then it works. Once you said remove. No, but see, it removes them, but then the other ones are on top. It doesn't really remove them. It's kind of weird. Since now I don't know how to undo that, and I didn't do undo, I'm gonna don't save, and I'm gonna create a new one again, which since the one I just created was there, then I could just go to my recent items and say create, and that'll take care of that. That'll be the basic setup that I was doing. Or Command or Control and go back to print. I didn't really change anything other than make it inches and add a bleed. So that's easy to recreate. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, don't say okay. So there we go. So now when we create the guides, don't say okay yet. We're playing around with it. Let me actually say cancel, everyone. Go ahead and cancel. And normally those guide colors are good, but if perchance you need to see the guides a bit better, you can go over here to ruler guides, and I want to make this, so normally cyanage is the color, but let me make them
Where did you go?
dark blue or something. Let me try with that. I went right above to ruler
Oh.
guides so that when I go to create guides, they'll be more visible. See, just for the learning purpose, you want them to be invisible. You'd rather have them be cyan, but just for what I'm teaching you right now, I just gave them a bigger color. This is all. I went to layout in front of create guides. I went to ruler guides and I chose a dark color for them. That's all. That's all. That's what I did. Later I'll go back to cyan because I do want them later to be more,
Okay,
want them to be there. It was slightly invisible to help you, but not to
Against.
bug you. But now for teaching, that's better. So I'm going to say create guides now. Okay, so I was trying to show you this, that if I have like 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, 5 columns, these columns right now are set measuring equally the page like this, and that is the same size starting from the edge versus if I click margins, and now that is equivalent to that. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say when I say that it's only considering the margins? And if not, so give me a yes or no. If it's a
Yes.
no, I'll give an example. If it's a yes, then I'll continue. Like Christina, when I say margins versus pages, does it make sense to you?
I'm visually seeing it, but I'm trying to determine
So let me
the
give you some examples.
advantage.
Okay, so then let me give you some examples. That's why I was trying to understand. So if I say page, 5 columns, right? And I say okay to that. So then if I make a box here, that's filled with blue, for example, right? Then this box, I'm now gonna copy it down here. Oh, I included the bleed, which I shouldn't have. Hold on. This box right there. Let me fill it with cyan. This box now, I can drag it up here and then here. So right now I'm just showing you the difference between the columns that are being
You hold the shift key down when you do that
the option.
option.
So that, if I now say W, but so it's dividing the entire page into 5 evenly distributed columns. You see that?
Yes.
Versus, now I'm going to say new, say the same thing, print, inches, create, versus this one, I'm going to create guides based on margins, and I'm going to do the same 5 based on margins. I'm going to say, okay. Now, this box that I'm going to fill with, say, pink this time. Now this box divides,
That is what I want to do.
the stuff, and of course I could have also done it from the sides. So now that one divides the whole space of my page evenly in 5 columns versus this one divides the part that's within my margins. And I could have just done the side margins too, but so it ignores the other margins. Does that make sense?
Yes, the outer ones
And-
are not included.
Let me go ahead and, because I haven't really done columns, but really what's happening is this. I haven't done columns yet, but I'm gonna do that. And here, let me just do it here by getting rid of these two. And I'm putting this
Good
in.
layout type.
So this is what's happening in one of them versus this is what's happening in the other one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That versus that. Okay. And sometimes you need one, sometimes you need another. It's your choice. But you need to make sure that that's the margin you want. And then in the case of this particular flyer-ish, let's see where I had it. I think that was it.
Oh, did she?
I think that they've got like the margins separate and that this is divided internally. And that if I were to put another yellow piece over here, it would fit within the margin. So I think in this case, if the idea is to kind of replicate that it's going with this mode where where the 1, 2, 3, and 4 boxes are there, and then that's the one that's missing. On the other hand, probably when I look at it again, it looks like they do have more space up there than just the 4th. I think they have a bigger margin. But again, I'm not trying to recreate the exact same thing, and I haven't showed you gutters yet. This was just trying to show you the difference between that and that when you're creating your within the page or within the margin. Okay. So in fact, I'm going to create a third one now to actually show you the columns. So the gutters. So here's 4, 5, and the gutters are again back the old color on this one, but never mind. So this one is always going to be set to the last time you left it. Last time I left it in margins, so it's margins. If you want it to page, you have to make it page, right? You need to always check this because it'll be set to your last choice. Now the second size we can look at is the gutters. So this is the gutter between those rows. So I can have a bigger gutter or a smaller gutter. You see how the gutter is moving around? So I can have that gutter be wider. Does that make sense?
Yes, but if that's true, then that email address on the bottom, that would be a footer then, and not a gutter.
The email is not within the gutter. The gutter right now is the space
between.
these guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, all of this can be within like what I can do is I can change this the position of my margins if I want more space underneath, because right now that last email, again, I'm not necessarily trying to completely imitate this. I'm just showing you how to work with gutters. But yeah, this would fall outside of the margins. If we do this right now, there's not enough space for this. If that's what we do, you know what I mean? So I'm just showing you how you work with guides and stuff, and then we'll decide what does this need for us to imitate that. Oh, sorry, over the hair. So, so say that I choose a random gutter size to have some space in between them, like that, for example. One thing I haven't done yet is show you columns. I could have done columns as well, and I can have 2 or 3 columns. So see how you can have a grid, and I'm showing you this one based on this other design.
4.
Like something like this, right? Where you would have the lines and then you would have the columns. In this case, then you break the mold. A lot of the times you create a guide to then break the mold in a way that makes sense. Like this is as much to one side as that was to that side. Like if this were the line, then this further to the right and that further to the left is equivalently distanced from that line. See what I mean? Anyway, but
Yeah.
you create the grid and then you choose how to break it. You don't need to live by the grid as long as it makes sense. Wow, is it already mid-time? So anyway, this would be the gutter or the column for columns. We don't necessarily need columns in this one, so I'm not going to use columns. I'm just showing you the columns are possible as well, right? Right now we're going to ignore the columns. And
Did you change the gutter underneath the columns? You
yeah,
said
I played
number.
around. Yeah, when I gave you some columns, I also showed you that you can
Okay.
change the gutter for the columns right there,
Okay.
right there. You can change all of it as much as you want. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to I'm going to take the columns off because I don't want columns, right?
So if you take the columns off and you have no columns, do you still have a gutter?
The gutter that I put in here will represent whatever gutter the columns will have. So the size is already there, yeah. But
So,
as long
but
as
I'm
there's
saying,
no columns, there's no gutter, yeah.
okay, I'm just making sure I think
It
correctly.
has a number, it doesn't matter. The moment I start putting columns, I better adjust my gutter to be the size I want it to be.
Okay.
You know, there's always a gutter or not a gutter. You choose whatever size you give it, but with no columns, it doesn't matter. The number is sitting there waiting for you to change it if you have a column, but not having columns, who cares what that number is? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to say okay to that one. So basically I have 5 rows with a 1/2 inch column, or maybe I should do 6. No, I'm going to do 5 rows with a 1/2 inch column. And then based on that, we can still, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. if we do 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think that gives me 3, maybe a smaller, no, I'm just now trying to look at that design. I'm thinking that we should add 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it 4 or 5? How many did this thing have? Oh, it only has 3. Okay. In my brain, I had 4. Okay. Then let's go with 5. Yeah. Just 5. And I don't know, bigger column, smaller column, gutter, I mean, probably a bit bigger. I'll go with about that much column. Again, we can modify these later, and we could have done this thing without any guides, but I haven't shown you the guides tool. So I'm trying to show it to you. Normally what I would do instead of guides, I would have brought my own rulers, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So I'm going to say okay to that.
Okay.
Right? So now those are my guides. And actually, let me change the color of the guides again for a second, just so that we can
Burgundy
see better what we did.
or black.
Burgundy. One of these was burgundy. Okay. Oh,
Oh, what happened?
because I had already created them, they stayed cyan. That's okay. You can see them. Barbara, your hand is up.
Oh, never mind. Thank
okay.
you.
All right. So now, one thing I could have, let's create, let me see if it allows me to add, create guides. Can I add? Yeah, I can add, let's add 3 columns. The only reason I'm adding 3 columns, and let's give them no gutter, is because instead of having to measure it myself, I'm going to use this to know where to set my guides. Maybe 4. Let's do 4 columns.
4 columns. Okay.
So,
And I'm going to show
so
you why.
now the rows say 0.
Yeah, because I had already created them. And as you well saw, you can't recreate them. So before I created the guides, now I'm creating the columns. So it's 2 different ones.
So
I'm
you
not
could have done it
copying the
together as
guide.
one, and now we did them separately.
Yeah. hmm
And there's no gutter.
Right now, I'll show you why I'm doing this. As I said, I'm trying to not take out the calculator and figure this out myself. So I'm going to show you in a minute what I'm going to do with this. I'm not going to follow this 100%, but I'm going to use it as guides to then set my own guide. So I'm going to say okay to that. Okay, 4 columns with 0 gutter, fit into the margins. I'm going to say okay to that. I know, I should have given you guys a break. Okay, give me a second. Let's finish this portion and I'm going to show you why I did this. And then we can start. But first, one thing that I'm missing is my layers in here. I'm not seeing my layers anywhere. So I'm going to go to Window and pull out the Layers panel. And I really want to show you the layers. And right now there's no layers there, right? We're just setting up guides and stuff like that. I'm going to move this over so you can see it. But here with the layers, we can, when we need to, we'll be, and this is the same panel. We've gone to the links panel a lot, remember, in InDesign, but we haven't really had the layers set up yet. So, okay, for when we need them to show you something, I'll have them there. Okay. So now why do I like dividing it with that panel is because I didn't have to measure. If I have my 8.5 by 11 and I take out 1/2 inch from each side, so I'm talking 7.5, then divide it by 4, like to make it all mathematical, I've had this do it for me. And now I'm going to set the guides that I want. So like right now, I want to finish my boxes at this distance, right? So I'm going to make a box. I'm going to grab one of these little shapes over here and I'm going to make a box that starts from the bleed. So don't forget that we need to include the bleed because this is going to be
Oh, why is mine so different?
here. This is going to bleed out. See that? And the fact that it's got some white is because I did a bad screenshot, but this should go to the end, right? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create a box that goes from the bleed. So I have my make box tool, okay, the rectangle tool. Okay. I'm going to go from the bleed following this guide, and it isn't perfect, so I'm going to have to bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to have it finish right at that third column. And then I'm going to fill it with a color. It doesn't matter which color right now. Fill it with a color.
Okay.
So
got
this
it.
is an example, if I hit the W, of one of those boxes. Now I still have to round the corners and a bunch of other stuff, but there's
So
the box.
I just want to confirm, because I've been going back and forth to my screen. Did you get a tool to color, or did you just highlight that section?
No, I gave it fill. It had no fill. I clicked on
Oh.
fill and stroke and I gave it a fill. I chose cyan, whatever. I don't have any
Okay.
pretty colors yet. The InDesign comes with less colors than Illustrator. It comes with a basic set of,
Ah,
that's it. Then we have to create our own colors.
But how did you highlight that area?
I didn't highlight it. I made a box. I went to
So
rectangle.
you did, okay, so you
I
went to,
made a box. I made an actual box. Just like in Illustrator, whatever, you can make a box.
okay.
I
from
started it
there.
at the bleed. And then if you get it wrong, you can always adjust it. And I finished it at the other end of the column. And then I finished it at this guideline.
And
And then since it starts empty, I gave it a color to fill it. And this time I made it a little bit off.
oh,
So once you make it, then you can go ahead
okay,
and make it
okay.
bigger or smaller or adapt it.
Edit. Yeah,
Thank you.
You have it hit
where's
the right
Phil?
edges.
I just had Phil. Dan,
What?
my over on the right side, your properties, I have a totally different thing. I have pages, layers, and links.
Okay, you need to select, God, guys, I should have given you the break hours ago. You have to, that keeps being my alarm. You have to have your box selected. If you don't have that box selected, then you'll have a different thing in here, page and all the stuff you meant. So
Well,
did you make
before
a
I
box
do the
yet?
box,
Did you make a box yet?
yeah, I have a box.
Select the box. Once you select the box, you'll see the same stuff over here on the right side as me. But
No, I
no,
still have
oh, you need to be
pages.
in, once you make the box, switch to the move the selection tool, the black selection tool, so that you're grabbing it now to move it around. And then you should see this. And if you don't, then share your screen.
Oh gosh.
You want to share your screen? Here.
Some wait.
Guys, I'm going to give you guys a break. We're going to save this.
share.
It's
Share.
just, we're going to end up with
See
no-
the right side of my screen?
Oh, because you put your layers on top instead of on the side. You have a different, you're in the Essentials Classic. Go up to the very top here where it says Advanced. Click on that and choose Essentials. I believe that's the one I'm in, yeah, in Essentials.
Oh, I was on advanced. I am not advanced.
Okay. And now
Uh,
go up to Windows again and choose Layers up to the top over here at the top wherever it says Windows. Yeah, there. And choose Layers. That one. There we go. And then you can pull it open and out. For right now, you can close it, but that's what I have. No, 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 no. Don't move it. Don't move it. Click on this little thing to collapse it or, yeah. And it pulls out when you need it. Okay, so this is what so now
How do
can
you
go
get
over
that
here.
in the
Hold on,
center?
please. Let me finish with Barbara. So go to the fill and choose a fill and fill that with the color. Okay, so now you have the same.
thank you.
You're welcome. What was that? What were you asking?
On the left side of the properties, those two icons, I have them separate
The left side of the property.
on the
These?
artboard. How do you get
That?
them into the center? Yeah, how did you get them into the center?
If you were in Essentials Basic, they popped in that way, but if not, you can drag them in here. Share your screen and I'll show you.
Oh, there's little arrows.
Share your screen.
Let's see. Do these.
Okay, so these little guys,
Uh-huh.
my color, my pencil. Okay. So if you click on this teensy little double-headed arrow, they're going to get bigger again.
Correct.
Click on it, make them bigger because you need a bit more. See that little double-headed arrow that yeah. Now, no, that's different. Okay. So now I wanted you to be able to grab go ahead and get rid of them. Get rid of this one. I'm gonna click on that X. Yeah.
I don't have
And now click on that
X's.
X. Okay. Now you can stash them here on the side. So this is the kind of stuff that I told you that I teach people in the Photoshop a lot how to reorganize their things, but I didn't in yours. Now go ahead and go to your essentials and reset your essentials first, just to make sure that you have them the same as mine. So go over here to this little arrow
Okay, so
right here. Yeah, click on that. And then say reset essentials.
okay.
Okay. Click on it.
And then click on reset essentials.
Yeah. To make sure that what you have and I have are the same to start with. Good.
Okay.
Now go to window.
Let's see. I can't see window because that
You have
the
zoom and
stop sharing's there.
no, don't stop sharing because then I can't help you. Go to window.
Okay, but tell me
Just
what to
drag
do.
it. Grab it from the black area and move it out of the way. Do you see where I'm making a circle? Yeah, close that.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
see.
you don't want to open a file anyway, so
Okay,
cancel that. It's probably-
window.
Okay, and then choose layers.
And then choose layers.
Okay, and now it popped into the right spot on its own.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we just close this out.
Yeah, close it
Where'd
or
it go?
okay.
I lost my layers again.
No, you
Oh,
don't.
there it is.
want them.
I
You
got it.
go over here and you click on them and they pop open or they pop closed.
Right.
Okay. And then over here, I finished this box, one box shorter. I finished it there.
Do you just drag
Oh.
it?
Yeah, just grab it from here and then just drag it.
Holding option?
So you're saying,
No, just pop it. Yeah, make it smaller.
so
You're fine.
click
Your mouse
here.
was there. No, no, no. Just your mouse was in the right spot. Yeah. And now drag it to the left and stop it there. Yeah. And now
no,
adjust
little
it.
too short.
I got it.
All right.
I don't believe it.
Okay, guys, let's save what we've got.
Oh, wait. You had the last box is open, right?
Yeah, let's save. You had it right. Let's go ahead and do a file save. Save on your computer. And let's call this one flyer reproduction or whatever. Flyer. Let's just call it flyer sample or something like that. And
No, no, no.
save that.
FLYER underscore one.
Thank you.
Where do I want to save it?
All right. So I was just saving the other two of the guides documents. Let's go ahead and take a break. What's 15 minutes? It's 11:11. So if it were 11:10, that would be 25. So let's be back at 11:26.
Last one.
Is that 15 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. See you guys at 11:26.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so different.
Hi, Jinsu. We're on break for another minute, and after that, we'll be back, okay?
Okay.
Just back very soon. All right. I'm back. Just checking in on my boy. I'm cold. Supposed to be summer, isn't it? I was always like dressed up and warmed up in Argentina. And now here I am trying to be in my summer clothes and discovering I can't yet be in my summer clothes.
You arrived just when it changed.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm no complaints. No complaints. I actually much prefer cold than heat. So it's a comment. Don't listen to me, weather gods. Don't bring back the
Yeah.
heat. I'm happier putting on a jacket than
It's
boiling.
warm enough.
Yeah. Mm. No, no, no. I much prefer. And given what the rest of the country is dealing with, I am in heaven that his is where we are. But yeah.
Yeah, I like it cooler, but much
Just that
better.
today I bought myself a nice linen dress in Portugal, and I was just put it on this morning to show my husband. And so it's all like, do summer linen. I'm like, I just got to put on a jacket. I can't wear my little summer linen dress yet. That's all. Of course, I know it'll get there, but
I love Santa
hey,
Barbara.
Jinsu, thanks for joining us. What's that?
I love Santa Barbara.
I
You
know.
know, you can go all winter and really not need to turn your heater on. I have a whole house thing. And in the summer, I have an air conditioner. I haven't turned it on in 20 years.
No, I do turn on the heater in the winter, but we don't have air conditioning and I've never needed anything in the summer. Fans, yeah, I love to sit in front of a fan. So like behind my back, I'll have the fan going or above my head. I have one. So we have fans in our house, not air conditioning, but heater, yes, I do.
I
house
do
gets
have
cold.
fans.
My house gets cold. Which again, no complaints. Some houses where the sun streams in all day. It's a very old house made and our walls are like this thick. And whenever we've remodeled, we have to, it just takes, the plaster, then something else that was put in it. And then in the middle, there's redwood, beautiful redwood that it was the original shack. So, there's just, the sun, it doesn't come, it's so well protected from the weather, but yeah, and it takes a while for it to warm up during the day in winter, and so we need to.
Yeah, in the morning, sometimes I'll sit in the dining room because it'll get the sun as soon as it
Yeah.
comes over the hill.
Anyway, so Jinsu, we're creating a document with some guides, columns and guides, which is what I was kind of showing people. And again, it might or not be the perfect solution for this particular project, where for a flyer, you could have probably just put in some guides and made it no. But I just wanted to show you, no matter what we're doing, here I have this tiny little book in front of me. I love it, by the way. It's the little color index. But no matter what you do, when you open these pages, everything that you see, it's not like oh man, I'm gonna have to turn off the kind of random. Let me turn off the
Where
background
you're holding
blur.
it, we can see it.
Oh, I need to turn off the background blur. But sorry, guys, but I have not been in this room since April, and there's stuff everywhere. But anyway, so here's my background blur. Here's my background. Here's the book without background blur. And I don't know, is it out of focus? So anyway, no matter what page you turn into it, this is just a little book that I happen to have sitting here, right? But all of this is made with guides. They wouldn't be able, I'm looking for the pages that are not, they have little pages in between. Here, so it
title
has this
color
little
index?
page in here. So to be consistent from place to place, and there's a different kind of page here.
Diane, is the title color index?
This is called a color index. Yeah, it's a whole little set I have of templates and shapes, and I love it. It's like a little handy dandy. But this is it gives you not only an idea of the color combinations, but how they work together, and you know how they react. And I mean, it's really nice. And it goes for, you know, pale tones, clear tone, you know, anyway, it's great. But I just picked it up because it was right next to me.
Yeah, the
And then
compo
here's a page where there's some writing. And again, it's no coincidence that writing is like that. There's columns guiding this writing. And in this case, this is something I was trying to explain to you guys the other day. The gutter space left between here and here is much wider than the gutter space between these two columns and or even the edge. So this and this has the same edge, and then they have a wide. Why? Because when you're really opening this like that, you don't want to have any of it be lost with that little extra thing that the books do. Now I just forced it open, which I shouldn't. I don't want to break it. But you know what I mean? You need to leave more gutter space. So there's two gutters. When you talk about gutters, there's the column gutter, and then there's the inside facing the spread gutter, which is this one. And you need to respect that. If you just have a little 2-page flyer, you can leave less space here. But if you have a book that's you might want to leave more space there so that you don't lose suddenly these things. These little details don't get lost in that big gutter. But this is going to be something that's been created, but even, and I don't, for goodness sake, the catalog that we were just looking at, there's also a whole set of if it's well designed, there's a set of grids and guides that's leading it to have, you know, like 3 columns in here, 1 in there, and then 1 at the top, but it's not random because then it's repeated. And then these 2 columns here, 1 is filled with a photo and 1 with text. And then on this side, the same 2 columns are repeated, but both with text. But if you look at the whole thing, it's really 1, 2, 3, 4 columns on the spread. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And 6 on the spread, or just 3 and 2. And 1, 3, and 2. So as long as you're consistent, you can divide things. But all that stuff needs to be
Laid out.
written. Yeah. Yeah. Someone said my name.
No, I said layout. Laid.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
out.
thought you said that Indiana, and I'm like, yeah. So anyway, so that's what this grid is all about. Now here I have a little brochure. Remember the other day I was saying about doing mock-ups? This is a little mock-up I did for another class where you create the mock-up for your brochure and you have to write. Another class, we've designed a brochure, and so the inside, what's going to be visible when you close it, what looks at what is really in the back, and that kind of thing. And so this is what I was meaning, making. This is the example I was saying about creating a mock-up, even with just a little piece of paper, where you create the product, how it's going to be, so that you know. So if this is the front cover of a brochure, because you're going to open it like that, well, on the inside, you're going to have these 2 flaps, but this inside flap, you actually design it on the outside. So when you see this piece of paper, the front cover is actually on the right side of the page, and the inside flap is on the left side of the page, but you wouldn't really think about that unless you like really take it apart. Remember last time I had asked you guys to take apart some cereal boxes and some stuff like that?
Yes.
Anyway, So that I just happened to have that inside of this book from the last time I taught that. So I was just showing that really quickly, but I didn't have that stuff with me in Argentina. Okay. So now we have this page with these guides, and you can use them as guides, but you don't need, let me share my screen. You don't need to 100% stick to it for a flyer that there's just one flyer, right? What you do want to stick to it if you are, here, I'm going to share these three. You do want to stick to it if you are doing a whole booklet, a whole, book or a whole big project. But in this case, so right now we got to the place where we have this little one right there, which we can just hold on the Option key now and just drag up. Here I made my 3 of these boxes, for example. Now, in this case, why did I use these guides is so that I could know and have them at an even distance and have them in the right, whatever format. But ultimately now I could turn these guides off. I'm technically going to just not turning them off. I'm just disappearing them from view by holding the W down, right? And then I can say, and I don't remember, it was 3 or 4 that they needed. How many was the original design? Anyway, now I can grab these 3. Yeah, it was 3. And they're a little bit bigger, in fact, but there you go. I can grab these 3 and I can now decide, well, I want to drag them down a little bit, right? And I want more space for my headline or more space or less space for my headline or whatever that. So I could have just made a box and dragged it 3 times. But what I'm trying to show you is the fact that when you have these guides set up for you, you don't need to be measuring. Now, what I would like to do with this right now, I would like to use these lines because I was able to decide what would be 1, 2, 3 with the columns, and I'm going to grab my own guides. So if you don't have the rulers visible, so Command R, if you don't have your own ruler visible, but I'm going to do Command R. And now I'm going to grab these side one and I'm going to drag one out and I'm going to finish it right here because this is a line that I don't want to pass. Like I really want that one. So I just put one there myself. I added one to the existing ones. And that guide is one that will show up in the layers. Well, actually it shows up in the layers in Illustrator. It doesn't show up in InDesign. That's interesting because these are my 3 rectangles. But
Diane, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I removed the guides. How did you bring them back?
I didn't remove them. I just did the W so that they disappear visually.
Right. And then
Right.
how did you bring them back?
W again.
Oh, it's a toggle on, toggle off.
Toggle on, toggle off.
Got
So
it.
here's the guide that I dropped. See how I put one guide in there that I want to keep to be able to now not move these out of the way. And then I might want or not to keep these 3 where they are, or I might want to make them bigger, or I might decide that what I really want them is to be as fat as a column, a row and a gutter. So if this is how thick they're going to be, and I'm going to make them be a row and a gutter and a row and a gutter. Sorry. So I'm just guessing at that. Then at least I have the right place for where they lay. And we've done all of these. You guys are all in my you guys are all in my Illustrator class where I taught you about alignment. Well, here's the same alignment tools right there. And I can make sure that I have my spacing evenly divided and stuff like that. Whoop, this one I moved over. So now when I do my W there, that's a little bit more like what the flyer had, but I'm going to undo that for a second to show you what I did. All I did was I made them wider, but I used those guides to make them wider. So how did I get them so exactly right? Because the shape plus that line, which included the gutter, boom, I dragged it to that, and that worked really well. So I'm going to drag this one to that, and that works. So this one now is identical to that one, and then this one, I'm going to drag it to there. So now I have my 3 the same, except for this one now needs to go a little bit lower, right? But how much lower? Well, that's what I can do either with the alignment tools, because now I'm outside of the grids that I use, but I use them at least to get started. Or you could have taken a ruler and a calculator and just divided these you know, automatically, not automatically, how do I mean? You could have divided them by using your calculator, which is what we did for years and years and years. And we'd go, okay, if we need that much space there, then we need that much space there. So right now you can decide if you want to need more or less space on the top or on the bottom. And when you're done with the utility that these guides have for you, the only one that has a utility for me would be this end one, so I don't go over, then I can just turn them off again. So I can just go back up to the layer create guides place and then just remove all the existing guides and rulers. And now I have a structure that's based. This doesn't finish randomly anywhere, but it finishes at the place that's exactly 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that space is going to be even to that. You know what I'm trying to say? It depends on how much structure you need. Some things need more structure. Some teams need less structure. But if you have that structure underneath, let me undo, because I just did a Command Z to not get rid of those guys. If I take these 3 rectangles off, starting with this same structure we created, we could have also worked on this kind of piece of art, or this one that I said that was like random. Those photos are in a weird random place. Had you created that grid behind this, this would be in the middle, but then these photos would fit where that bottom would hit this top and this bottom would hit that top and that bottom would hit that top. And just doing that would have made this whole place much better. Literally, if this line and that matched and this line and that matched and this line and that matched, you would not be feeling like it's unfinished or that things just got dropped in randomly. And how would you have accomplished that? By having created some kind of a structure. Well, you'll drop one there, you'll drop one there, you'll drop one there, you drop one there, and then you put in the middle, you put this thing, the table of events, and there you go. That same structure would have helped you with that. Does that make sense, you guys? When structure helps. Now you can
Yes.
choose to say that you may say that this is a photo, and one photo fits in there, and let's give it a fill, right? I'm gonna give it a different fill since I've been giving it that fill so much. So this is a photo. Then the next time I go around putting this one there, I may decide that I'm going to put one there, or I may decide that I'm going to take 2 columns for that one, right? And then I'm going to do that one, and then I'm going to put one there, and I'm going to put 2 columns that way for that one. When you're done, when you turn it off, you might not notice, but this looks more balanced to you than if you had just dropped 3 different shapes. Does that make sense? And what was the guiding structure behind it? It was the fact that there was a whole set of guides. Does that make sense, you guys, what I'm saying?
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because the things are balanced out in where they begin, where they end, what belongs to what, and stuff like that. And the distance between here and here is equivalent to the distance between here and here. And how did you know? Because you just dropped it in the grid, that's all. So visually, this and that have that same distance than had I left it like right there. And then that would have been like, something's wrong with that. I don't know. And eyeballing it might be harder. But if you had the guides to tell you where to drop it, then there's no need to eyeball it. Your brain just does that job for you. Does that make sense? If I go drop another one kind of there in the middle of nowhere, versus if I have this to tell it to be, I don't know, say here, and to go up to there, then that's following that pattern, versus if it's just kind of there, middle of nowhere. And for some things, that lack of pattern really works. Let's go back to this one. That looks really pretty. There's no pattern per se to these flowers, but you still need to have a very, the whole thing has to be this flu nature. But if you had done that to this, it would have been a disaster. Does that make sense? It depends on the design you're making, if you're going to want to have it be really clear or not really clear. All right, so InDesign. Yes, Barbara?
Could you use InDesign if you were putting a photo book together? It seems
Oh,
that you'd have more
InDesign
control.
is InDesign is the book design document par excellence. I mean, that's where if you ever want to design a book, InDesign is where you would do it. It's made in particular for big projects. In fact, when you go make a file new, you can either just start with a new document we've been using, or you can just start with a new book. Books, chapters, design.
Seems like you have more control than the software that you know, when you send everything off to get published, then the software, their layout and stuff, you know.
Well, those softwares aren't bad. They're just templates that you need to follow, and that's good. But if you need to create your own, that's one of the things I did for years. I did coffee table books, and I designed so many books, and it was definitely InDesign or Quark Express when we first were using it. But that's the whole power. I designed the style guides for a magazine once, and you create it all based on these grids and guides in the background.
Thank you. I'm just
you can
learning
start
about it.
paying
It seems like it would be better.
pick up any magazine and start exploring and start drawing lines, brain lines in your mind, or grab a ruler and start drawing lines, and you begin to discover there's like, you know, many times it's not divided like this into four columns. Many times a magazine is designed like, say it's got 12 columns. You're like, 12 columns? That would make little tiny columns. Yes, but when you have a grid with 12 columns, then you can do more of what I'm showing you right now, which sometimes you use 1.5, sometimes you use 2.25. But right here, it's harder to do that because I don't have them. But if I had 12, then it would be easier to always be fitting them in one of the lines. You know what I mean? So that
Right, yeah.
would make more sense than just this random placement, because you'd have it so, you know, divide. So say that I were to clean these guides out and I were to decide to make 12 columns right there. And let's make the gutter a bit smaller. So say this was the columns that I had. And
Well, you
you're
eyeballed
not
that
gonna,
good.
you're not going to write something so small, but you're going to make one box go from here to here. The next one will go like from here. And right now I don't have these shapes are made for a different translation. And then the next time you're going to have a photo that fills the screen, but it'll go from here to here. And then this one will go, say, from here to there. I don't have the horizontal one, so right now that's a bit random, but say that this is what you do. And when you actually find out, it seems random, but they're guided by the same structure. You know what I'm saying? And then you decide how many times you're going to go with, and this is this structure here. This is this structure that I had shown you, where you have a whole
And your text
choice
follows
of
in
columns,
that
and
too.
sometimes you decide to use 4 in a row or 3 or 2, but they are belonging to this. So say that let me share the screen again, and then I'm going to continue because we do need to keep going. But say that this one here, I had decided to use this and that's the 2 bottom columns. That would be the 2 bottom columns. Then we had like 1/3, and I'm guessing plus 1/3 plus 1/3. And again, I'm doing these a little bit random, but there we go. Because I don't have the right structure set up, but I'm showing you. Come on, get in there. And then that's the 1/3. And that's the 1/3. Come on. I don't have it set up to snap to the guides, which is, it's much.
Right. Then when you do text, you
There we
draw
go.
a
And then the
box, a
top
text
one
box.
was 1 like that. So this that you see right here, and these are actually, they need to have a bit of a bigger gutter. That's this structure. You see here? 1, 3, and 2. But
Right.
they conform to this structure. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I just saw Moni going, whoa, I got it. Okay. So when you do that, this is not random. This has a structure behind it, like the skeleton that holds it up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is a very typical
when
12 or
you
16
type
is a very
and put
typical guides. What's up?
when you put text in there, do you draw a text box?
Yeah, yeah. Right now I'm just making little
Okay.
blocks here, but yeah, you would create a
Thank you.
text
I
block.
like this.
Block. There we
This,
go. So now this one I finally got the sizes to be kind of the way they go. And come on. There we go. So this structure is exactly what I have right there.
right. You can get pages identical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you
And then based on this structure, you create the second page, a third page, even though there might be more or less information in this box than in that box, or in this one than in that one. And by the way, when you go to page, 55 or something like that, maybe that same structure was kept somewhere else. So this is a completely different thing. By the way,
can you draw these out and then save
so
them
then
as
you have
templates?
this one somewhere else. Well, guess what? These two will correspond to those same 2 bottom blocks that you had on that second page where it got divided in 2 blocks. You see what I mean? So anyway, this is the skeleton. Now, I'm showing it to you for a flyer, which is real overkill, but I'm just trying to kind of give you an idea of how this works for a structure. Does that make sense?
Yes. Makes a lot of sense.
All right. And I'm going to go ahead and
Can you save the pages as a template so you can have that same exact layout?
yeah, you can save this as a template. You can have these be that's what these grids are. They go in the background as part of your template.
Thank
And
you.
you can ignore it or not. And
This is a cool program.
now and then you can decide to have something that completely breaks a rule. You might just have a box that does something crazy like say a headline that does this, and it just breaks it. But guess what? Something breaking it in the mix of the rest is fine. And if you use it occasionally and that work, you know what I'm trying to say? Now and then you'll just, and I'm just throwing this out as an example, but you might have like a fluid font that goes curvy, but it's like an embellishment, but the whole thing is based on a grid. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then you can put in a perfect
I've got to
circle
play
here
with
in
this
the
program.
background, and if that perfect circle that goes in the background is going to end up say behind these guys, then you're going to make sure that it falls finishing. Well, right now I put it in the back so you can't see it. Before you put it in there, you'll make sure that it finishes not randomly right there, but it'll finish within one of these lines, that everything else is guided by that line. And then when you put it underneath, you might not even notice it, but it just kind of makes sense where it is. Why? Because it finishing in the right spot or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say? So, okay. So that's that. Now, I believe I have here somewhere still the original 3 rectangles. Yes, I
You
do.
need some screenshots.
Oh, that's true. Thank you. It's screenshot time. But I don't have my guides anymore, so I'll count on yours. Why don't I do my screenshot of these only because I lost my original 4-column guides. You guys do a
I just
screenshot of the rest of the one that we're using. Thank you, by the way. And let me pull out the tool, the Create Guides tool that we were using. Let me close this so that in the screenshot it's not such a big deal. And let me
You
bring
never know how to.
its tool. And that's going to be the good screenshot, actually. There we go. And do you guys still have the Padlet link copy? Here we go. I just put the Padlet link again in here. And let me go to the, hello. Digital, am I sharing? Oh no, I think I'm not sharing. Let me share my entire screen. Here we go. Oh, there you go. Moni, you did that. You did the one that I said I was gonna do, but you guys, can someone else put the, oh, Moni, you also put the 4 one.
Command.
It says, structure based on columns and rows created in the guides tool or something like that. Grid structure.
Shift Command 4. Come on.
Acts like a skeleton to hold up your design. Okay. Cool. Back to InDesign. Since I've gotten rid of my grids, I'm gonna just get rid of them again. And I'm gonna go with these 3 that we had created, that then I think by this time I had already made them fatter and moved them down a bit, just to kind of imitate ish this thing. Although over here, I had like imagined text over here, but and it's a circle. I personally don't really like the circle within those corners there. It's not my fave, but sometimes it's all a matter of taste. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do a little bit of work with text.
Date.
I could probably go undo to move these to a different place. I don't know, but I'm just gonna put them down there for now. To get them a bit out of the way. And let's go up here and work a little bit with text. So normally when you have lots of different pieces of text in a piece, you're gonna do your best to try to have ideally one font. If you need to have more than one font, try to keep it to 2. Some publications can get away with 3 fonts or other stuff if they begin to play around with different styles. But for the most part, if you look at anything that's well designed, what's happening is it's the same font, but there's different versions of that font. Now, I can't, oops. I don't know what font they have here, but definitely this Disaster Kit Preparation Night is not a regular any old font. If you look at the K, it has like this little floop on the K. Look at the uppercase N. It's not like a typical N. So it's not just any old font. I can't tell if Girvanfield City Council is using that same font or not because it's kind of too small to tell. But it seems to me that they probably have that same, because it's a little bit funky everywhere. It's not like a regular straight font. When I mean regular straight font would be like that one, which is a really clean line font. You know what I mean? This one looks like they continued down. Nope. There we go. I give it away. There's certain things you look at to see if you can give it away. And in this case, look at the A and the A for Disaster Kit. See, it's this kind of an A. And look at the A in Chicago. Like the A's are giveaways. There's no A in the Girvan City Council, but you just kind of try to match one of the more typical ones and you watch. So the A's are giveaways, the G's have a very specific way of being designed, and like that G has a little zink up on top and that doesn't. So in this document, at least we can easily tell that there's 2 different fonts going on, which on just one little flyer, that's probably a bit too much already. Ideally, as long as the small stuff is all one font and the big stuff is another. Okay, that could be understood as a headline versus an internal one. I probably wouldn't do that on just a flyer. I certainly would on a magazine or something like that. But let me show you what I mean by one font with different versions of it. So say that we go over here and let's grab our type tool. And in InDesign, we need to make a box, a text frame, right? So I don't know how big my title is going to be to start with. So I'm going to just go from margin to margin, and I'm going to make a box like that to start with. And now let's write whatever our headline is going to be. What are we making? Are we making the same headline? I mean, do you guys have a different flyer you want to make? I don't think that we have much time to, how about we say, School of Extended Learning, or no, let's just do the same thing because we don't have the time to. Disaster kit preparation night. Okay, let's go with disaster.
Ah,
kit
snap
preparation.
to it.
So I'm going to write disaster. They have it in upper lowercase. I, for some reason, feel like doing all uppercase right now, and I'm going to show you what's good and bad about that. So I'm going to write disaster kit preparation night. So I wrote it. Clearly, that's not a font that's headline sized, nor is it a font that's yet going to be going to work for it's the font that came out, and the font that comes out is either the basic Minion Pro, that's the default font, or sometimes it's the last font you ever used. Okay. And I chose to go uppercase. The problem with writing it in uppercase, and let me actually give it a bigger size so we can see what I'm talking about. So right here, if I go over to the far right, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a, I don't know, a 48 point, just so we can see it, what I'm talking about, maybe 36 point. I chose to write it in upper lowercase, like I actually held down my caps lock. So then when I tried to go over here to change it from uppercase to lowercase, like right under where it says character, right here, I could have changed it to upper lowercase there, but I can't because I already wrote it in, and by the way, I don't know why, I already wrote it in uppercase versus had I come over here and written it in disaster kit preparation night, then you have the choice to come over here and turn it into upper lowercase. You see that? So you're better off, unless you're really sure that you want uppercase, then like there's no question it's going to be uppercase. You're better off going upper lowercase, and then you can go over here and switch it. But you can't switch it downwards. You can only switch it if you already wrote it in upper lowercase. Okay, I'm kind of talking through this rather quickly. I can't believe how quickly time has gone, and we only have a little bit of time left. So 20 minutes left. So stop me if you need help with this. Christina, you're good?
I'm trying to figure out, how did you get rid of the columns
Oh, I did
and rows, but you kept
layout,
the other?
create guides, and I turned off this thing, remove existing.
Okay, thanks.
guides. But you can leave them in there and hit the W to know that they're there. I mean, I just wanted to teach it was harder to have them on, but yeah, because I had switched them to the 12 column guides and I didn't want to go back to 4, but you don't need to get rid of them. You can just hide them. You can also go to view extras, guides, and grids, and you can just hide the guides, which is the shortcut is Command a semicolon, and then they stay there. You don't need to have them. The W was the easy way to show it, but definitely you want to have them and hide them. So say that I had them, create guides, and I don't know, I think we had 4. I don't remember what the gutters were, but say I had that. If I want them to stay there and be there, but not see them, then I do command semicolon to just see them or not see them. And then I don't have to be in that mode. You know what I mean? Okay.
And then I clicked on the selection tool, and then I clicked on that type tool, the big T, and clicked like you did. And when
So you have to click and drag, make a box.
okay. because I couldn't figure out how I couldn't type.
Yeah. You have to make a box. You have to make a box to fit your type. Okay. So then your box fits within that. Your type fits within that box. You don't just click your T. That's Illustrator, Photoshop. You just click your T. And in design, you need to make your box. Okay. And then I made it from end to end. And then I snapped it from margin to margin, still unknowing how big I wanted it to be or not to be. I just went ahead and made a box that's as big as the whole margin to margin. And then I started playing around with the uppercase or lowercase. Now, as long as you wrote it in upper lowercase, then you can choose to do uppercase, lowercase, or you can do this like all small caps, which is uppercase, but all of it is written in uppercase, but the stuff that's lowercase gets smaller. Okay. So that's that. Or you can go back to all lowercase. Okay. But again, you only have this flexibility if you started by writing it upper and lowercase, and then you can make choices. So say that we go with all caps, small caps, which is this one, for example. Now this box that I made allows me to make it smaller or bigger, and then the text keeps rewrapping inside of that text. So say that I want the for any reason I want the headline to finish at the same spot as the columns hit, which could be a design choice. Then I can make my font bigger. What was the name of the whole thing? Disaster Cake Preparation Night. So I could have it be really big, or I can change it. So this has like 60, 48, 36. But what if I want somewhere in between? What if I don't want 48 nor 60? What if instead I wanted, 55? So then you have to go in there and you need to write 55. And then you hit return. And that return is what makes the change. So I'm going to write 120, for example, and I hit return. And then that's when it gets really big. See over there? I move this up in the character box. You click in there and you have to delete what's there and then say 96.
Oh, wait
Hit
a minute.
return. And then the whole box, even the stuff that's hiding, is changing. Okay. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So say that I did want to have it fit that same line for any reason, and I would have to respect the gutters. Then I think somewhere around 48 actually was giving me that with this font, which I haven't changed from Minion Pro yet. And when I click away, if I like it, it's hard to see. Does it work? Hit the W, and then you look at it and go, oh, maybe I like that. I mean, I don't know. It's a thought. Now I had my guides. I took the guides away. What I'd like to be sure, if this is something I'm going to do, then I need to put my guide along that line. I know. And I need to zoom in, because right now, by guessing, it's not the same as being sure. Okay. Sorry. And that T, if it's going to finish at the same spot as that T, it can't be a little bit out. And this one's a teensy weensy bit out. So it might need to be 47, for example. I don't know, 47. And then when it's not exact, then I might want to change the spacing of it. But the whole point is that I don't really think that's something to aspire to. So that's why I'm not dying for that necessarily to have it finish there. But I'm just saying you can play around with sizes until it gets you to the right spot. Now, the main thing I wanted to show you here wasn't that. It was actually font style. I know. Stop. So I have my alarms set up for when I need to do a break, but then I have my Argentina alarms, this is the time that I've had to prepare to start teaching, right? Because the class was about to start, and I have my, oh, time is about to end. And then I have my start teaching, because at 1, I would get ready for my 9 a.m. class, right? And it's like, oh, so they're all ringing at me, and I'm like, stop. Okay.
I can identify with that.
Yeah. So anyway, here I am, and I wanted to show you the whole family thing that I was talking about. So if this is the Minion Pro regular, right? Then there might be different versions of Minion Pro. I might have Minion Pro regular or italic or bold. That's about it for Minion Pro, right? But what if I had gone to, and I'm going to go ahead and make this be bigger again because I didn't necessarily need it to yet be that smaller. What if I went up to Minion Pro to the arrow next to Minion Pro right there? And then I start looking at other fonts that I have in here that are already there with the computer, and see how it's beginning to show me here. And when I hover over these, it's doing a live preview of all these different fonts that I have here. And it's showing me what it's going to look like. So I haven't chosen any, just hovering over them. Is that working, Christina? Are you doing this?
Yes, somehow I get behind and then I'm up to date with you,
Okay.
figuring
Because
it
I
out.
keep talking and explaining things, hopefully to get that to be the effect. People catch up. Okay. So say that I decide that I want this one, Aller, right? And I click on that one. Well, guess what? All I have is Aller bold. That's it. That's the only choice I have, which means that then I'll have to have a different font for the inside text and all that. Versus if I go for one of the fonts that has a little tiny triangle there on the side, and there's many of them, see the little triangle guys there? Well, what these triangle guys are telling me, there's 4 versions of Arial. There's 4 versions of Othello. Oh, there's 12 versions of Avenir. Okay, let's check out. And then there's 12 versions of Avenir Next and 12 of Next Condensed. But let's go with these. What do I mean? I'll open this little triangle, and I've got Avenir Light or oblique or book or Roman or book oblique, etc., etc., etc. Black, heavy oblique. So this is an example that if I were to go with one of these guys, then I would have more choices. I don't know why I have it. Oblique, here we go. If I go with black, for example. So say this is my choice for the headline. Then I can choose another version of Avenir for the stuff that's underneath. Does that make sense? And
Yes.
that might be the better choice for, or not, for this. So say that I go with, and I'm not particularly in love with this or another, but I chose it because it had 12 versions. So say I go with Avenir Black for the headline. And then I can still play, or did I prefer it in uppercase, lowercase, or all that kind of stuff. But say I stick with the upper lower, then, and by the way, where were my guides? Here's my top. See, it's one thing to have the box hit the top margin, but
Bring it
the
back
text
up.
isn't at the top. So I need to move my text so that the text is at the top margin. See how I'm choosing the text because the box doesn't necessarily stick to the text. It can or it can't.
Oh.
Does that make sense what I'm doing? Here's what I'm trying to say. The box itself, the frame, the text box isn't, if I try to hit the margins with the text box, which is how I created it, then my font, my text is not on the margin. So now I'm going to drag this up to make sure that it's my text that's on the margin if that's what I wanted, even if the box is outside of the margin. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
now I'm going to move down. So that was a line that I cared about, that margin line. Now I'm following it. And by the way, 5 inches might be something that's too much or too big. You can decide right now. But right now, if that was my margin, then that means hitting the margin, not the frame. This box can be made smaller if I want it to, you know, kind of right size it. You can also go over here and just double click on it.
There we go.
So then it jumps in. See how I just went to this guy, and instead of doing it by hand, I'll just do a quick little double click on the bottom, and it jumped to the bottom of that text so that it kind of tightens up. You can't do that to the top. The top always has a little bit of extra space. Do that to the bottom when you want to write something else and you want it out of the way. Now you make another box here and you keep it starting in the same box. And I don't remember what this one said, so I'm making another text box there. And what did this one have to say? It was the date, September 20th, 5 to 7 p.m. and the address. Okay. So let's put in, so today's August 13th. Let's say that it's going to happen on August 23rd, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, in this case, tip 12 p.m. Again, I'm not making a choice over whether I like that flyer or not. I'm just kind of imitating what it says. What I would teach you in the create compelling content class would be to really explore and to see what's the most important thing to say. What do you want people to know first? What do you need to know next? Is the most important thing the date or where you're going to be teaching or what you're going to be doing or stuff like that? And I would think that, yes, if you're trying to get people to show up for that night, yes, the having the date be the next thing that's the biggest matters. Otherwise, you could have said, well, how about a title describing what you're going to do or whatever. But in this case, yeah, are you free September 20th? If not, don't keep on reading, right? But then you put in the address. If people know where this is, like if you are in Santa Barbara, right? And you know where, I don't know, the May Public Library is, everyone knows where the public library is, then maybe the second thing might not be the address for where it'll be. Maybe it'll be the date really big, and then at the bottom you'll put the address, or you'll write public library or something like that. But maybe it's going to be in a weird place that no one knows about. Then yeah, the address being up there and it matters. You know what I'm trying to say? When you choose where to put your information and what matters most, you need to see people tend to stop reading after the headline. They don't read much more. So if they see disaster kick preparation night and that's good enough for them to want to go, then that's fine. People who are really like on the line, then they start reading. What else are you going to do? What are we going to? So, this keeps moving. So then you write your own disclaimer, all materials we provided, learn the essentials to make turn into a disaster. Now, maybe people would prefer to know that all materials will be provided first, because they're like, oh, wow, we're going to walk out of this with that, so then you start making decisions about how you get people to come in. But right now, let's go ahead and keep writing some stuff. Now over here, I wrote this in the same font that came out. It came out in the Minion Pro font. It didn't come out in the black, but see how bad this looks? Oh, to me, to have one font and another font in the same flyer. Now, unless they match, the fonts kind of match, sometimes they do match, then it's a good idea. Like a straight line with a curvy line can work if you work on them. But in this case, this looks really bad to me. So you need to be really careful to keep being consistent. Either turn that into one or this into the other. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a version of Avenir. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go for Avenir again. And then when I go for Avenir, maybe instead of having the thick one, I'll have like a medium. I don't know, whatever this is, medium. And look at already, even though I don't have good spacing here or anything, see how much better this already looks just because we're using the same font in a different style. So this one was the Avenir Bold, sorry. Oh, Aller Bold. I thought I had left it in Avenir. I switched over to Avenir Black. I thought I had it in Avenir Black. Yeah, so it's Avenir Black for that one. And then Avenir Medium for this one, right? So they kind of are part of the same family. Barbara, your hand is up. You guys could have chosen two other completely different families or one different family, just showing you how important it is to keep everything consistent design-wise. Barbara, your hand is up.
Yeah. I have a little a little box that I made, and I didn't see it.
Go ahead
And
and share your screen. I'm looking at the time. I only have 5 minutes left and I wanted to do a little bit more with you guys, but oh well. Can you guys do this? Can you try to finish this flyer to your heart's content? It doesn't need to look identical to anything.
it's this
But
little
finish
box
something
right
of it.
here.
Yeah. So you have, what you have here is, first of all, the font you chose for the bottom is a font that doesn't have
Yeah, I'm trying to get back
brand. Yeah,
to.
that's fine. But let's go to that little box that you have there. You can go with your, so just go outside of this, go to this little area where it's outside of the bottom one, and then you'll be able to select it. Yeah, click on that. No, you're dragging it across and it's going to select two. So just select right there. Just click straight on that box. Click on it.
The line.
Yeah, there. Now hit your delete key.
Oh, so
Text
easy.
box that you got. It's an extra text box that you made. Now select this text box. Okay. And now that one, you go over here and you've got like Braille, which
Yeah,
font
I
that's been
was
chosen.
messing
But
around
just to show
and
you, sometimes the fonts that turn into like little boxes like that, it just
I
means that your
added
computer
Comic
doesn't have,
Sans.
just means that your computer doesn't have the font that allows you to make it, and that's why those little boxes appear. Okay, there you go. Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
Let's see, I just clicked on it and hit delete.
Yeah, the frame, when you hit delete, it'll delete with
Too
everything
easy.
inside of it too.
Thank you.
Deanna, I have to go.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just mention I may or may not be in the afternoon class. I'll try and log
Okay.
in at least.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm in and out.
Well, since this is my last one until the fall, hopefully I'll see you in the fall, but in case you all have to need to go, today is our last class. Go ahead, and if you can put together some stuff in this flyer and throw it in the Padlet, that would be great. But other than that, I'll have a great 2 weeks. Usually it's a long summer. It's just like a couple of weeks, and then I'll see you again somewhere. Bye.
I
So guys, we have a couple minutes left. So let me just say that I'm going to, usually I start these projects earlier on, like the third week, and then we continue learning everything with these projects. I wish I'm gonna, do that again. So in this case, for example, I wouldn't mind putting a photo. You know how before we had here, make a circle. Okay, so I'm gonna make this circle. Fill it with that
Where
same
did you
blue.
get your circle? I don't have
So
a circle.
now I'm gonna go ahead and put this at the end, because you know how that thing had those end caps that were round. So one way to make those round end caps might be to add a circle to the rectangle. There's so many different ways to have done that, but that's one way. And then I'm gonna duplicate it and put another one there, another one there. And then I have my three little things inside of which, and I'm going to just really quickly, I'm going to just drag another box in here, and I'm going to write whatever, come and prepare for an emergency, whatever it is that, wait, let me just see, what did it say? Join us and learn how to compile your own. How about if I just write the short one? The all materials will be provided. I'm going to write that one.
And then to
Go
move
ahead
it.
and say, all materials will be provided. Oh. Yes, I know. Class is ending. Thank you. So now I have that one, and I'm going to make that one be the same font again, Avenir. But I'm going to go with a bigger font.
Oh dear. Manzi.
And then over here, remember the other one had some photos, and so
What
maybe
did I
let's
do?
that. Materials will be provided.
Oh, help.
Okay, what happened?
I just shrunk everything.
Okay, command minus minus, command plus plus, minus minus, command plus plus,
My thing's
command
being
0 to fit your screen,
what?
command 0 to fit your screen.
Command 0, Barbara. No,
Did that work?
no.
Okay, then share your screen.
I'm
Okay, I'm gonna
sorry.
finish this here. I'm saving the file. I am going to stop my share. I'm gonna put this in my Padlet. Go ahead and share your screen. And hopefully those of you who have enjoyed this class and want to learn more will take it again and will work on products from the beginning.
You never know how to undo anything.
All right, so command plus.
Ah, okay. Now how do I move that circle?
You have to select it. So once you made it, you're still in the make circle tool. So in the make circle tool, all you can do is keep making circles over here. See? So now when you're done making the circle, okay, this is the make circle tool that you've selected. So now you need to go back to the black selection tool, which is like your hand. So that's where you are. You were making circles. Now you're done making circles. So you go up, up, up to the selection tool. And now with the selection tool, you can go and grab that circle and move it around. Okay, no, you've selected the box.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead and Command Z. Don't try to put it, it's usually Command or Control Z is better than trying to fix it. Now go and select the circle. Click on the circle itself. It has no fill. It's an empty one, so you need to click on the edge.
And then
You
just
can't move
drag
from
it.
the middle. Give it a fill if you want to move it from the middle. Go over to the fill and give it a fill. Here, it has no fill. Over here on the right. So give it a fill and then you can move it from the middle.
Oh, that's gross. Okay.
Okay. And now you can move it from the middle because it's otherwise you were trying to pick up a ring with from the middle that had nothing. Now you can click it from the fill and drag it over. Yeah. Yep. Keep dragging it. Now you can drag it wherever you want.
Now I want to make it bigger. Do I just
Yeah. Click on that and make it bigger and bigger. And if you were to want to keep it like looking like it's part of the bar, it would have to set the same color. That would mean you'd all have to change it to blue and have no stroke, or you might want it to be a different color like this and put a photo inside of it. It's your choice.
and then to put it underneath?
If you want it, do you want it to be like a blue like mine with a round tip, or do you want it to be a circle like
I
this?
just
Yellow?
leave it yellow and put it underneath, and then
Have
I
just the tip come out? Okay, so then go to the layers. Up here to the
oh
layers.
God, where are they at?
Up there at the top, right there, that's the
Oh,
layer.
there, of course.
Yeah. Open your layers panel, your layers layer, that little arrow. And now grab the circle. One of these says circle.
Oval.
Put it underneath the rectangles because we don't know which is the top rectangle. So just grab it all the way to the bottom and it'll be under all of them. There we go. Now you can collapse this from here again.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh God.
All right, so Christina, Jinsu, I'm putting this in the Padlet. I'm gonna write keep your fonts consistent. Ideally, different versions of the same font will give you enough variety. I'm gonna publish that.
To cut the circle in half to make it a semicircle.
It's not a good idea in
It's not a
InDesign
good
to do
idea.
that. That would be like an Illustrator thing. InDesign is meant for layout, not really for drawing. So you could do that, but if you're going to get fancy with these shapes, then you can bring them in from Illustrator as a bottom shape.
Okay.
Okay.
So did you leave the circle as a whole? but because you connected it, you can't tell
Because
the
I
other
made it the
side.
same color, you can't tell. Yeah.
Okay,
You
thanks.
can group it like we do in Illustrator if you need to, but yeah. But I left it just, let me share my screen. Mine are,
You wear me out.
this is just a circle. Sorry, this is just a circle that I put on top, and it's just happens to be the same color with no stroke. So you can't tell, but it could have been, and I could have grouped it also like we do in Illustrator. So now I just grouped it, and here it is. It's one piece. I just did, so now if I grab it, it will move as if it were one piece, but all I did is put together two pieces. Okay. So yeah, that's all I did there.
So for mine though, the semicircle, you could still see the line.
Because you still have a stroke on it. So take a stroke off.
Oh,
Let's
how do
check
you
out.
do that? Okay.
Okay. So go to gap color none. No.
No, over here,
Mm-hmm.
the fill
Stroke.
had a stroke. Click on none, not gap. So I'm not
The
sure.
fill. Okay.
And
Fill has a color, and stroke, which is this one,
I'm not
no
getting.
color.
the
Here's a
same
stroke
thing.
on my circle. Here's
Okay.
none means no stroke.
Why don't I get the same thing?
Do you want to share your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go to lunch? Yes. For that.
Oh, I got it now. It clicked on me. Beautiful. Ah,
Okay. All right. Keep working at it, posting it, and I'm going to see all of you guys in Illustrator at this point. So, oh yeah, Barbara.
How do I that?
Okay, select that yellow, select it. Well, move out of the way, collapse it. Okay, now select the yellow bit, click on it. Yeah, and now on the right side, you can go to the stroke, yeah, go to the stroke color here, which is black. No, well, you could say 0 stroke, or you could just take the color, both worked, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Now I have a
Now
blue.
hit your
line.
now hit your W key. And that's what you're
Oh,
doing.
okay.
But I'm just going to show you that you weren't seeing the stroke on the rectangles because they were part of the grid, but you also have a stroke on the rectangles. So if you don't want stroke on them, you have to take the stroke off of the rectangles as
So
well.
I click on that.
And then you can either give it 0 stroke, or you can click on the color of the stroke and say none, either way. Or say 0 stroke. There we go. And
click
I
on
mean, you
that.
don't have to. I'm just showing you that with the grid, you couldn't tell, but you had a stroke on
You
them.
can make the stroke bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right.
And then I can click on the stroke.
Not on that, just click on the color to the left of the stroke, kind of right where you click, but to the left where it's a little black box. Click on that, and then you can choose none, which is the top choice. You can make it red, you can make it blue, or if you don't want it, you make it none. That's equivalent to having said 0 points. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna
thank you
click on
so
that
much.
one,
You're
and
welcome.
I'm gonna click on the stroke. And oh, what's a gaudy color?
They're all pretty gaudy. We didn't get around to how you create colors in InDesign. I'm going to work with colors in Illustrator today, but a lot of what I'll teach you in Illustrator applies to InDesign, but not colors. Colors we create differently. So whatever we learn in Illustrator today, only half of it will apply to InDesign. All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you, many of you, later. And then if not, hopefully in another class in the fall. Okay?
Now, what
I'll send you
was
an email with the classes I'll be teaching, and
does Adobe InDesign have a history?
it does. It didn't used to. Well, Illustrator has a history, but the history of you have to pop it up, and you have to go up to Window and History, and then you'll find it right there. And it works just like the one that you know from Photoshop.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can see
Thank you
what I
so
did.
much.
You're welcome. See you a little bit later. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.